is being ruled eligible. The judge that presided over that ruling went to Ole Miss Law.
Yeah, Robert Whitwell,
So
1972 grad of Ole Miss Law School.
at the end of the day, you and Kyle need to shut your mouth, bad-mouthing Jerome Tang. Because he was way ahead of this when he said, I got to find me some K-State judges.
He was on the nose.
I mean, he said some things that maybe he shouldn't have said. But that one, he appears to have nailed it.
Yes. Looking back, that had a lot more credence. How long ago does it seem when guys just played 3 or 4 years and that was just it? Like maybe they get a year. How wild? Oh, a guy got a 5th year. When that first guy to get a 5th, holy cow, that's interesting. That's a new thing. And now, there's no idea how many years a guy could play. They miss this. Okay, he's 25. He's going 7th year. We've almost lost the thread of what college athletics was. The money is one thing. The transfer portal is one thing. But just to be able to keep coming back and finding reasons to come back and having to enter through the legal process to get another year of coming back. When does it end? What is it? Are we just going to keep going that direction, or are we going to pull back more?
There's a story. There's the Montana kid who's in a 9th year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had somebody send me something that somebody was in an 11th year. And they said that, he began his recruitment happened in the Obama administration.
I saw that too, and then
but I don't know. I couldn't prove that it was accurate.
I think it was a parody.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
It had a misspelled word in the title. I went, oh, okay.
But there is truly a guy who got a 9th year.
Yeah.
And this is of note. Chambliss getting the green light is of note because Melvin Council is theoretically out of eligibility off old rules.
Yeah.
Really, I think off old rules, he wouldn't even have this year, right? Because he played 4 years before this year.
Yeah.
Well, then they bumped it to like 5, but 2 of his years are junior college years, and if those years are not going to count, which is one of the things that's being contested all over the place, if those years don't count, he theoretically could have 2 more years at Kansas. And for a player like Melvin Council, a couple of years to grow your game, work your outside shot while making good money. I mean, he's worth a lot of money in Lawrence, Kansas. You're a car dealer, you're a hospital, you're whatever, and you want a spokesman. Melvin Council's the heart and soul of this team. You may have let's say best case scenario, Kansas goes all the way and wins a championship. And then Melvin Council returns. The heart of a championship team is back. What is the value of him
with another
team, as all Kansas teams seem to be pretty good. Even the last 2 years, I'm sick of the last 2 years.
But they'll get another top team, another top player coming in as a freshman.
But I think I think he could play on a team that's a 6 seed. Mm-hmm. And he's Melvin Council, who won a national championship, heart and soul of the team, who picked him up at numerous times, carried him across. His value at Kansas has got to be better than a 2-way contract after not being drafted in the NBA, or even just a G League, or off to Europe. Now, there's good money to be made. I know people who make $250,000 and have done it for 10, 12, 15 years. That's good money. It's more money than the kids who graduated with, a lot of fancy degrees have made playing overseas. Maybe $500,000 here or there. I mean, there's some that make 1.5, 2. I don't know what the highest ends are on the overseas. But I know there's lots of several $100,000 jobs playing ball overseas, right? But if you can make millions in NIL, because, I think that's even this is where the equation gets in. K-State just hired 2 people. One they was kind of almost like a reassignment, I guess, maybe. I think it was somebody who was in the athletic department, and I just read the release today from K-State, and I'm sorry. I was like, oh, that's of note. I'll remember that. But basically, they hired 2 people to help run their NIL.
Yeah.
And so, I'm sure it's largely about fundraising, but also if you have a player that on the outside NIL, let's say he can make $2.5–3 million. You say, listen, Melvin, here's what we're going to do. We can get you, as we help to funnel the NIL money, we can get you $3.5 million in outside NIL money. What we want to do is, listen, we're going to give you $100,000, from the school fund because we want you to know we care, and we would give you a lot more. Except for we've got you set up. You are a big brand in this town, and if we don't give you more out of the $21 million that the university holds, that's more we have to put towards guys on the team around you.
Yep.
It's somewhat the hometown discount without having to take a discount because he would be making a huge amount of money in the quote-unquote endorsement side of it. Right? There's the in-school NIL, $21 million settlement to be spread over all the athletes, however the university wants to spread it, largely football, secondarily basketball, after that, everybody else. And if you said, like, we don't want to give you any of that, but look right here, we've got you set. If you want to go play ball overseas, go. But, this car dealership, this hospital, this restaurant chain, this, all want you to be in this hotel, want to give you all this stuff for you to play ball here, and then that gives us that money to go spend and try to get another player with you.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think, is what your NIL people are doing in addition to just raising funds is, because I think one of the duties I read on this release from K-State was that one of the individuals was going to be cap management. One of his duties was cap management.
Yeah, that's Julie Owen, Executive Director of Cap Management and Revenue Sharing.
Yeah. I mean, that's where we're at now, Like, they have their own capologist.
Mm-hmm.
We got this much. Here's the best way to spread it around. I think
it's a business. It's them. They're the players are younger, but
it's amazing.
It's more and more like actual NBA and the NFL financial personnel.
Yeah.
Personnel groups.
And Patrick, I see we're going to lead off with. Is that brother Patrick? Okay. We'll go with Patrick 913-3810810. A couple of things I want to set the table with, and then we'll get to the phones at 913-3810810. But yeah, I think this is important because I think the best place for some of these kids to play to maximize their earning potential is Kansas.
Yeah.
Over going overseas. And so that's why these rulings matter and where at some point there has to be a precedent set. And I don't think it's coming anytime soon because this will probably get appealed by somebody else, by the NCAA, go to a higher court. Eventually, what you need is a precedent that's in ironclad. Here it is.
Yeah.
And you know what really would be great? If all the universities involved could, get together and, agree on rules and then maybe have somebody who, administrates that rules. Like some kind of, like an association, and maybe it'd be national of all the college. Like a national collegiate, to handle athletics.
Yeah.
Like an athletics association, like a national collegiate athletics association. If they could all come together, figure out the rules, and then live by the rules that association puts out there.
What would you call it?
I mean, acronyms are big.
I know.
Maybe NCAA, NCAA.
I think that would catch on.
I hope you get the farcity of what's going on here. They have something to give them rules. They just don't listen to them because they didn't fit what they wanted right away. So now they all do whatever they want, and then they bitch that there are no rules. Mm-hmm. So we need judges that went to our schools and figure it out for us.
And they're not going to have any, not going to have any type of angle on it. It's kind of funny. I was made me think of, because it's Ole Miss, the scene in the Blind Side, where the one woman keeps talking to him and trying to figure out why he went to Ole Miss and why he wanted to go to Ole Miss and so and so and so and so and so and so, and it goes on. And finally, it goes, I go to Ole Miss because my family went there. She's like, oh, okay. And they thought it was this person had influence. This person, when they were trying to pay this, he's like, it's because of my family. But that put that in today's company.
That he would later sue.
Yeah, that he would later sue. Yeah, right.
Yeah, just to put for some of you that have followed the Michael Orr story and where it went on to, he would later sue the Toohey family.
Yes. It's just...
your point is 100% valid. Your point... now we don't have to be... There was a time where, we questioned why would you go there. Now it's like, why to go? Well, most money.
And also,
it's legal.
There was a time when, to understand college sports, you just had to know the games and know how good the players were. And that is we're so far down the road past that. You really can't get your arms around. If you're a fan of a college program, you really can't get your arms around what you had and what you've got or what you're gonna go for unless you learn a lot of new stuff. It makes being a college sports fan a lot more work than he used to be. Well, who do they recruit? Cool. Who's going to play the 4? Nice. That was all you had to know. Now it's an entire different world. And for the betterment of the players and probably maybe for the sport, it's an improvement. Boy, it sure ain't the same. Not to sound like, an old fuddy-duddy, but
no.
we've gotten so far into it, I think we've kind of almost, and it's been so gradual, we've kind of forgotten just how freaking simple college athletics was just in our lifetimes, just in our careers.
When you see the amount of money, though, that is going to the players and everything else, do we also understand just how ridiculously, one, unfair, but two, incompetent college athletics was?
Yeah.
Because look at what happened as soon as the players started getting money. We got an expanded playoff. Why? Well, we got to pay these players. We need more money. The college football playoff has been sitting there. Google death to the BCS. Jeff Passan was in. He was one of the writers that was in on that with. He's with ESPN now, but for a long time he was the lead columnist for Yahoo.
Dan Wetzel.
Dan Wetzel was the lead guy, but Passan was, I think, the second writer on that. And what year did that come out?
2010.
In 2010. Death to the BCS was written, and if you haven't, it would be a good read if you haven't read it right now to go back and read about the things they talk about in there and where we sit today, how changes have come. But one of the things that was stressed over and over in that book was there is mountains of cash just sitting there waiting to be paid for a college football playoff, and we don't do it to protect the sanctity of the bowls, which make money for none of the kids, largely nothing for the schools. They're basically given just enough money to cover their expenses to bring everybody. They want to bring. The bigger the bowl, the more you get, but the more people they bring and the more stuff that there was. And for a bunch of guys to earn hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and wear bad blazers with a patch on the breast of the blazer that stated what goofy bowl they were from, and travel all over college football's, fabulous coliseums to watch games and strut around in their blazers. To at the end, we knew who the hell they were going to pick, and this went on for years and years and years. And then, no, we can't possibly do it. And then what happens? Every time they need a buck, they do what everybody knew was the most obvious answer all along. And eventually, you know what they'll do? They'll get around to having a governing body. They'll be like, you know what? Maybe we were dumb to all bitch and complain and run away from the NCAA. We picked the people. Maybe we just need to get the people in charge, and then have a vote, and then live by the vote. Oh, make rules and live by them. Oh,
I heard someone say, it may have been John Meacham quoted someone that says Americans are really good at finally getting around to the right choice once they've exhausted all the wrong ones. They eventually get around to the right one. That's just kind of a piece of Americana. They'll eventually get around to the right choice once they've tried everything else that sucks. So. That usually is a political. I think it was initially meant for more politics and just actual real world issues in sports, but it sure works. I mean, who's in charge of athletics? Human beings, and that's just what they do.
Yeah.
Eventually, they almost get forced into the right decision.
Yeah. I don't know, but I think this case is of note if you're because it could be a player coming to you. Now that opens up all kinds of things like, well, should a guy be in his 6th or 7th year of college in lieu of an 18-year-old? I mean, you are ultimately taking up spots. Like the 18-year-old that would have gone to Kansas will now go to UNLV, right? Or will go to Boise and hope to play well and then transfer to Kansas, right? I mean, the minor league thing is really kind of happening. There's a trickle-down effect, and we see, for the most part, Melvin Council transferred up. He went from St. Bonaventure to Kansas.
He went from AA to AAA.
Yeah.
Or AAA to the big.
AAA to the bigs.
In that
right?
college.
But it does trickle all the way down to where now there's an 18-year-old kid who would have been at, the lowest, Canisius, who now is going to go Division II. Okay, but that trickles down. There's a D3 kid who would have been a D2, and then there's a D3. There's a kid who would have been D3 who's now in junior college, and then there's a junior college kid that there's no scholarship for. It eventually gets to there are younger kids that aren't going to get the scholarship, and they're going to do what?
Yeah. And there's more people funneling into that system because the population only grows in this country, in every country, and the number of jobs aren't growing, really. So people aren't graduating out of the system; they're staying in it, and an increasing number of 18-year-olds are finding actually fewer spots than they would have had. There would have been that happening anyway, just because of the population expansion. But now the jobs there are actually fewer jobs for more people.
I'm curious. I mean, listen, and it might be it's something I'm just, it's off the top of my head here, but we might find that there are, partial scholarships that go unused at NAIA schools, and now there are NAIA schools that are going to have legit basketball players, better basketball, the talent there. I don't know. I mean, I'm totally open to it. I know that in women's athletics for a while. This is not really the case. Maybe it's not nearly the case. I know it's not as extreme, but for a while, the big thing was, well, they can't find girls to take the scholarships at these sports. These scholarships go unused. Well, they don't in volleyball, and they don't in women's basketball anymore. I don't know. Maybe there is softball scholarships that are going unused, but that's the same kind of thing. When the girl leaves Stanford for Texas Tech for $1 million, well, now there's a scholarship open at Stanford. But if they're going to play 2 extra years in softball, it's the same kind of thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Maybe it's like, well, for 2 years, go work and keep trying to play. I don't know. You get back in. Yeah. But I think kind of once you've been passed over, you're passed over.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It is. It's interesting times. It's unwieldy times right now in college athletics to be for certain. I give up. But
it's going to keep changing. So.
If Melvin Council plays basketball at Kansas, I think that's good for Melvin Council, and I think that's good for Kansas if he plays another year.
Yeah.
Right?
No question.
I think he's a beloved guy who gives everything he's got. The university loves him. He seems to really be connecting with the university. I think that's a good thing.
Incredibly marketable.
I just want to point out that there are other dominoes that fall behind it.
Yep.
So, we'll see. 913-3810810. We have some NFL football we want to get to. Jeremy Fowler wrote a piece about how long the overhaul should take with the Chiefs. CBS Sports did a redraft of the 2025 draft. I think some interesting notes from that we want to talk about. Phone lines are open, 913-3810810. Brother Patrick, you will hit leadoff when we come back. I got a couple of phone lines open. You can hit me up on the Twitter, at Soren Petro, SORENPETRO. The program's off and running here on a Friday.
The program with Soren Petro.
Well, you are my guy. God bless you. Where are all the guys like you?
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we are smack dab in the middle of all of the basketball action. NBA coming down the stretch run. College basketball heating up. Listen, you can get in on all the buzzer beaters, block parties, fast breaks with Underdog. Right now, make entries, win money in Missouri. If you get your entries right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Playing on Underdog is super easy. Pick your favorite player, go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, assists. They're all right there. I'm going to give you one. I've been riding the Flory-Badunga higher points train, and I ain't getting off it right now. 11.5 against Iowa State. I'll be higher on Flory-Badunga for 11.5 points. 11.5, let's go. Come on. Little wondering what I'm not smelling there, but I like it. Pretty easy. Hey, Darren Peterson, you think he's going to bounce back? 18.5, go higher than that. How about Melvin Council? I like higher than 12.5 on Melvin Council as well. It's just that easy. Pick your player, pick your stats, go higher or lower. Use the promo code Soren after you download that Underdog app. That's right. Download the Underdog app right now. Use the promo code Soren, score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code Soren, S-O-R-E-N. It's just that easy with Underdog. All the basketball action is just waiting for you to jump in, and there's games every night. So download the Underdog app. Use the promo code Soren, score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's it, Underdog. Make plays, win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/plain get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit www.ncpggambling.org.
Hey, y'all. It's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. I spent years on the mound giving everything I had, and now I feel every inning in my knees, back, and shoulders. But I didn't want surgery, and I sure didn't want to be sidelined. That's why I turned to QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Christie and his team use regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No surgery, no meds, and no downtime.
Whether you're teeing off at the club or chasing the grandkids around, QC Kinetics helps you get back to doing what you love.
Call QC Kinetics now and schedule your free consultation. Natural joint pain relief with real results.
Don't let the pain slow you down. I didn't, and neither should you. My friends at QC Kinetics, they'll take care of you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Let's talk about the buying experience at Lewisburg Ford.
It's the best anywhere. Just ask all our customers, Toby. It is hands down the best experience you can have buying a new car. We have the no-hassle Toby Tobin price that we've had for over 45 years now. Nobody else can say that.
Did you know that, do we have that sound?
We
have
do.
the system? What number?
I don't think it was numbered, but Kyle is aware of it. 'Cause he
You
said he
had
heard it.
the Kurtis Goes Big Time? Once you've made the Eye on College Basketball podcast with Matt Norlander and, of course, the esteemed, the iconic Gary Parrish, you know you've made it big time. This is Gary Parrish.
Earlier today
On the Eye on College Basketball podcast, throwing some love to the big guy.
They've lost 3 straight games at home by at least 24 points. Lost at home by 24 to Kansas, then at home by 34 to Iowa State, then at home by 29 to Cincinnati. And according to Curtis Seaboldt, who does radio at 810 in Kansas City, I saw him tweet this. That's the first ever Big 12 team, first ever Big 12 team to lose 3 consecutive home games by at least 24 points in the history of the conference. So when you got this kind of stuff starting to get bullet pointed on you, it's it's difficult.
So, we love our boy Gary Parrish. If you're a college basketball fan, if you're a K-State fan, you want to hear their whole conversation about Jerome Tang. It's one of my podcasts that I follow and listen to. They're great.
It's really good.
Of course, I have not heard today's yet.
Yeah, it's the second thing they talk about. They talk about the broken hand suffered by the Carolina.
The Carolina kid, yeah.
And then Wilson. And then the second thing they talk about is Tang's comments.
We got to get Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Yeah.
We got to get him.
Get it in.
Radio 810.
We'll
take it, Gare. We'll take it.
Our old buddy Aaron Odegaard says, Curtis Seaboldt does radio. Perfect shout-out in the title of your autobiography.
Wasn't it like Monday
Right
or
on, AO.
Tuesday? Curtis was complaining about he puts out these great
Yes,
tweets,
yes, he did.
and nobody has anything to say about it.
I put out these absolute gems.
Man,
and they get
Gary
like
Parrish.
2 likes, 3
nothing.
retweets, and 2 answers.
2 days later.
Then I put out like, oh, look, a fart. And I get like 250,000, it goes viral. And it's like, but the good stuff never gets anything. There it is.
There you go.
The biggest podcast on college basketball.
Giving me some
Just
love.
Loved you up.
I'll take it. I will take it.
Long overdue.
Yes.
There have been some great ones by you. You should have been on every podcast out there.
There have been a few that I'm like, what? Yeah, so thank you to Jeff Martin, Rock Chalk Jeff, who pointed us
in that direction.
Me to this morning.
I will probably hear it at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow if the Bucati Fest doesn't go too late on my old man walk. So there you go. Look forward to that.
Hell yeah.
913-381-810-810. We're going to get into some football. I think Brother Patrick wants to talk a little football. Let's go to the phones. 913-381-810-810. Patrick, how are you, my friend?
Hello, brothers. I'm still listening. Hopefully the Royals do better and I can comment on them this year. I got some questions here, and I'm going to hang up and let y'all answer them.
All right, let's have them.
First question is the way the commissioner talked on this station when the Super Bowl was on.
Mm-hmm.
This is about the worst Super Bowl I ever heard. I believe they're going to start playing 18 games in this new season. You can comment on these questions when I hang up.
Okay.
And now these are the other questions. How come when you're a college football player, when you're a college coach and you're trying to recruit your college players, you sign players from Old Aper, Shawnee, Shawnee Mission, Springfield, Missouri, and when you're a basketball coach, you sign people from Africa, Germany, places like that, Italy. How come you don't sign or recruit basketball players from around here?
Okay.
I'm listening off the air.
All right, Brother Patrick, it's good to hear from you. Don't be a stranger, my friend. All right, let's we'll take them in order here. Worst Super Bowl ever.
Worst Super Bowl ever was Pats Rams. In
13-3. It was like
it was
6-3
in the foot. No, that
was a dog. So this one was rough. It wasn't. The Chiefs usually are. The Chiefs make for exciting Super Bowls when they win. When they lose, they get wrecked. They're not exciting.
Right.
But when they win, they make for exciting Super Bowls because really they're beating the system in a big way, especially since 2019. But even the 19 championship team was a team that had been in the playoffs, 18, 17, 16, 15, and 13, 5 of the previous 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to then make the Super Bowl and win it in 19. That's not your formula of a roster filled with high draft picks that are still cheap.
No.
Like Seattle, we pointed out, not only do they have a quarterback that 3-year, $100 million deal, but this year only counted, I think it was $13 million. Then he hit one of his incentives to make it $14 million against the cap, which is really low for a quarterback. But they had a number 6 or 9. The left tackle was number 6 or 9. The D tackle had 2 sacks from Texas. He was picked 12. They had number 5, the corner that got the sack. Witherspoon is probably the best corner in football right now. Witherspoon was picked 5. And then they had another one at like 19. I'm forgetting.
Worry?
No, I think he was a second-round pick.
That's right. He was early second.
They had a guard.
Gray Zabel.
Yeah, the
Gray
guard.
Zabel.
He was picked at 18.
Yeah, he picked at 18.
Yeah.
So you had a team that over these last 4 drafts had really pretty high picks. You know, a couple of them really high in the top 10, but they're still on those rookie contracts.
Yep.
So that was part of the formula for how they got there. The Chiefs are always kind of swimming upstream with the big number, especially after the last 3 Super Bowl appearances. Patrick Mahomes has been carrying a huge cap number, and he's still the top 2 spots, highest cap percentage for a quarterback to win a Super Bowl. 1 and 2 are Patrick Mahomes. So I think that's one of the things you need to understand about how you could get there. And so when the Chiefs, or how you're built, and so when the Chiefs get there, they're a less complete team usually than their opponent.
Yeah.
Right? First time they faced the Eagles, Hurts was on a rookie contract. When they faced the 49ers, Garoppolo wasn't on a rookie contract, but was on the first part.
Wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a mid-level deal, and he was early in it.
Yeah.
So the number wasn't that high. When they're facing a guy who was like less than $1 million.
Yeah.
Second time they faced the Niners with Brock Purdy, and then Jalen Hurts. They had really backloaded his deal. He was on a new contract, but the full brunt of it hadn't hit. The full brunt of it's going to hit later for the Eagles. So, they usually are playing against teams that are more complete teams. So it's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the coaching staff rising up lesser talent to meet a more talented team, meet and or beat a more talented team. And I think that gives you an exciting Super Bowl. Here we had 2 teams with cheap quarterbacks getting in there, and the one that did the better job kicked the crap out of the one that had a yellow brick road of a path through the regular season and postseason to get there. And it happens. It happens. So I don't think it's a new trend in football. I just think it kind of is what it is.
Pats got here a year earlier than they expected, and now who knows what they're going to. Teams that lose don't win the first time often don't win, or the quarterbacks at least. And they have so many free agents. I mean, that's going to be a team that's going to be hard to really continue to keep together. The core of that team. It really. I love Vrabel and may show some promise, but sometimes you get one shot.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it done. So
we're gonna over the coming years we'll find out. Is Drake May David Woodley?
Right.
Is he Mac Jones? I mean, Mac Jones looked real good and made a Pro Bowl as a rookie, right? And then they were looking to replace him a couple years later. Now he looks pretty good when he gets with the right offensive guy. So I don't think Drake May is
until he faced his first top shelf defense.
Yeah. I mean, David Woodley of the Dolphins went to the Super Bowl and lost to Joe Theismann and the then Redskins back in '82, and he was the youngest quarterback to ever take a team to the Super Bowl, right? At that time.
Yeah.
That number was bested by Dan Marino.
And 3 months later, they drafted a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah. And so, they knew that there was limits there. And I think Drake May's more than that because there's a higher pedigree to him. But it may just have been a year that it was Mitch Trubisky on steroids. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. I would bet. I'm betting on based on the playoff performances. He threw 2 touchdowns against teams that had a winning record the entire regular season. Now, most of that is because he didn't play many teams with a winning record, which speaks to why, okay, what do we really know about this guy? And when he got into the playoffs, they were advancing more off the ineptness of their opponents. Like, I didn't like when everyone's like, well, Houston gave that game to him. I still think you got to go out and play. I think if I'm the Patriots, I don't like that. But if you want to say Houston gave that game to Drake May, okay. I keep giving the ball back to him after he kept giving it to them. That Stidham played instead of, Bo Nix. Yeah, that's all accurate.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see. The 18 games, I think, is inevitable. I think we all knew that when they came off 16 and went to 17, 18. What happened? We'll go to 18 and 2 preseason games. My opinion now would be to go to. I mean, what are we waiting on? Go to 20 games. Like, we don't want more football. Who doesn't want more football? Go to 20 games. Go to a double bye. Go to a triple bye. I'd like 20 games and 40 teams. I mean, you've got all these different windows you're wanting to do. If you're going to step all over college football and high school football and play on all these different days, then you need to start having more weeks off. And if you have more weeks off, then you can have more games, but you need to fill the inventory. So if you go to 40 teams, you can play more games. I mean, to me, I would just look at how the EPL does it. Their season stretches on forever, but they have all these little tournaments amongst them.
Yeah.
I I can see one day people playing football and there being a, U.S. Open Cup or a World Cup of football where the U.S. just craps on everybody with their backups for a while, kind of like we did in the Olympics with our college kids until we went, oh, they've gotten good. And now we got to send the big boys. And now our best was winning by 5 points in the gold medal game, 2 points, or losing it. Worse. Maybe one day that'll happen, but why not go to 20 games and no preseason games? Nobody plays anyway. You do all these scrimmages, so let's go. Play 20 games.
Yeah.
I love the idea. My every now and then we do these shows where it's like, what would you like to see in sports or what should happen? I would love to see a 20-game season where the quarterback can play 18, everybody else can play 16, except for the kickers can play all 20. And then manage your roster. That's kind of what you get in soccer in the sense that, okay, we got a midweek game and we got a U.S. Open Cup, so basically we're going to play 5 games in 3 weeks, so everybody can't run, so we've got to use our whole roster. So use your whole roster. People have also heard me say I'd like to see a minor leagues, but college provides that for free. And college allows them to step all over their TV windows. At some point, college might want to go ahead and unionize and collectively bargain and then start sticking it to the NFL. Because the NFL abuses college football like it's their bitch. Okay? Let's be clear. Like, if you won't even get out of the way, they're giving you a minor league for free. Mm-hmm. And you won't even let them play their games on a Friday. You got to go squat on a Friday after Thanksgiving because we can do it. What are you going to do? I don't know. Why don't you collectively bargain with the players? Start signing them to contracts to where they're 25, 26 when they get to the league, and then they're old and worn out when they get there. Let them deal with the broken down 29-year-old. And everyone's like, oh, the average span for a player is 4 years in the league. Yeah, because that's when they start getting paid in year 5. Injuries pile up, and if they're 23, by the time they get to their 5th year, they're going to be 28 or 9. Teams don't want to give them a 3 or 4 year deal. So go ahead and use up all those good years. The true elites will leave at 20, 20 and a half, 21, like Patrick Mahomes. Fine. But the bulk of the players, the league is already pissing and moaning. I'm going to go to the combine, and I'm going to listen to them like, well, we get down to round 5. I mean, like, we like youth, but they're all 25, 26, and everybody goes back because they can make more money in college. If you're a really good college, if you're Melvin Council of football, you're not an elite NFL prospect, but you're a guy, you're a badass 5'11 linebacker that runs a 4.7, but as smart as crap, can cover, understands the game, and you force 4 fumbles and get 3 interceptions and 5 sacks, and you're a badass. Well, you ain't that worth that much in the NFL, but we'll take you in the 6th round, see what you can do, and have you cover kicks. Not till he's 26. So if I were college football, go ahead and expand it. Let him play 6 years. Tell the NFL and say, no. You want us to knock this down so you can get our talent for free? Okay, well, get off some of our good TV windows. But you know what? Go back to what I said in the first segment. You'd have to all work together. But you blew up the organizing body that you had, that you created. You couldn't follow your own rules, you selfish pigs. And so you blew that up. So how could you possibly come together and say, let's stick it back to the NFL? I just gave you the way to do it. But you'd all have to work together, and that's not going to happen.
No.
So, exactly what you wanted to hear, wasn't it, Brother Patrick? I just asked about 18 games, man. All I want to know is about 18 games. Settle down, Tubby. You're going to have a heart attack. They don't play. You asked why the college football kids are all local and, basically Americans. They're international. They play basketball at a much higher level. No one around the world really plays football at a high level. They're starting to, and maybe it'll take on in the more games. That's what the NFL's trying to get, more guys over there. But they've been playing ball, and the NBA had been nurturing the international market long before the NFL did. I mean, people may not remember this, but they used to have, I think they called it the McDonald's Classic. And the NBA champion would go play a game over in Europe against, I don't know if it was a European All-Star or just one country, but that's the game I talk about when they played Yugoslavia. That's how long. This is when Serbia, Croatia, for you young punks over there, don't even remember, there used to be a country called Yugoslavia. For you older folks, just think of the term Prussia. If you're an old fart and people mention Prussia and you're like, what the hell is Prussia? Well, that's what these kids think when you say Yugoslavia. Okay, but when Yugoslavia played, I remember the Celtics playing Yugoslavia, and all kinds of guys that would later come to the league, and that's where the great Johnny Most call of Bird over to McHale, the DJ lays it in, the South thinks, all right, here comes the Yugoslavian team, and it's Kukak over to the little guy.
The lefty.
Inside to the lefty.
Down the big fella.
Divic. And it was Vladi Divac and Tony Kukoc and Dino Raja and Drazen Petrovic and all these guys that would come over to the league and be really, really good. But, hey, we're just over here to fool around with these goofs. Didn't realize that they were like 5 years away from guys that they were playing.
Yes.
Coming over and
playing for championships and winning championships.
Yeah. But the NBA had been doing that for a long time. The NFL, this is what all their games are about. Yeah. Grow the game. Grow the game. Get more money. All right. I went on for a while. I hope that answers your question, though, Brother Patrick. Always great to hear from you, my friend. 913-381-810-810. You're in the program. I want to get to your calls real quick, though. I mentioned this Johnny Most call. He's an iconic Hall of Fame broadcaster for the Boston Celtics for years and years. I used to do the games with, like, couple, 2-3 fingers on a glass. If you know what I'm saying, for the bourbon connoisseurs out there.
Maybe a cigarette.
Maybe a pack or a carton of cigarettes. And that's why his voice sounded like what you're going to hear, because this is towards the end of his life. This is around 88. And the Celtics in what was called the McDonald's Open, playing the Yugoslavia national team.
Right now, quickly it goes to, I'm going to have a little trouble with the names at first, Shvedikanen, and hits it. A ball from 12 feet. Now the rebound is picked up by one of the big guys. This one is D-Badge. Underneath, he lost the ball, but he gets it back outside to one of the little guards who misses the shot. And the shot is no good. A rebound by Frankovic, and he stuffs it back home. Boy, best move of the game for him right there. Now quickly to the big guy, and now to the lefty. And he lost the ball, but it's picked up in there. Now it's a little fella. Oh, boy, I'm having trouble with the name.
This is a guy who once caught his pants on fire.
Dropped his cigarette in his lap while he was calling the game. He was like, "Oh, I'm on fire."
He was calling at the end of a game, and he was getting so excited he was bouncing up and down on one of those folding chairs. By the time he was done, he was sitting on the floor because the chair was collapsing.
Chair kept going lower and lower.
He was calling the game from the floor.
Yeah.
All-timer.
All-time character.
A typical disgusting display by the Lakers.
Yeah, that was one of his. That was probably his most famous call. Typical disgusting display by the Lakers. Those Celtics-Lakers finals in the '80s. Yeah,
won't be another one like him.
No. 913-810-810. Let's go to the phones. Kyle, you're on the program. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, Soren. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
Hey, quick question, real quick. Who do you think the Chiefs should take when it comes to the draft? I've been listening to you guys on 810, and I've been hearing talks. The Chiefs may go safety.
They're not going safety. They're not going safety. Let me allay all those fears. They're not going safety.
Okay.
Let me take a minute to tell you that there also is no truth to the fact that the Chiefs are pursuing Trent McDuffie trade talks right now or a contract extension. None of that starts until you get in the same town. That'll be in Indianapolis. I'm sure that Trent McDuffie's agent will find Brett Veach and will have it. But I keep getting people sending me these tweets that are out there from these alleged insiders. Let me tell you, that is all crap. Just keep a collection of those, because anyone that's telling you that is happening before the combine comes, you can unfollow them because they don't know what the blank they're talking about.
Okay, thank you. So this is where I would like the Chiefs to draft Soren, and this is where my question is coming from. So, do you think the Chiefs should draft running back in the 9th round, wide receiver, and I'm not just talking about a 5'9" wide receiver, like a big physical 6'3" wide receiver, kind of like a Juju Smith-Schuster, DK Metcalf size, or offensive line? And I'll listen off the air, Soren, and I know we need a defensive line too. But what do you think the big? I'm with Mahomes. You got the best quarterback in the league, and I like to see Mahomes get some help.
Yep.
But what do you think the biggest need on the? What do you think the biggest for the 9th overall pick?
Right.
Who do you think the Chiefs need to
Okay.
draft? Those are my three.
Okay. I appreciate it, Kyle. And no, you're good. You're good. Thank you for the call. And I'll say this. Listen, at 9, you are unabashedly best player available. Okay, now that takes into account, you're not taking the number 1 guard over the number 2 tackle, because tackles are more valuable, right? So position, carrying weight, right? So to me at 9, it's edge. Like your premium positions are quarterback, don't need one, not going to take one. Probably not one worth taking there, because the top one will be gone, right? Left tackle, corner, true number 1 corner, pass rusher, be it a collapse the pocket D tackle or an edge rusher, and a true number 1 wide receiver, right? Not just the best wide receiver in a class, because not every class has a Jamar Chase. He was a true number 1, but there were questions about even Justin Jefferson, because he was like the 3rd or 4th wideout taken, right? So a true number one, like those are the positions you're looking for. And if there isn't a guy that you believe fits that bill, then you want to trade back. Right now, so to your point, we'll see how it all shakes out when all the grades come. But right now, I think there'll be I think there's a decent chance there'll be an offensive tackle there. The Miami kid, I think, is going to be graded as the number one guy. There's going to be several other offensive tackles that go in the first round. I don't know that they'll be true first rounders, but I think you're going to look long and hard at that. But I do like the idea of drafting offense here. And I think if they take an offensive tackle, I'm not going to be upset because protecting Patrick Mahomes and weaponizing Patrick Mahomes should always be your first order of business. And then the highest paid defensive coordinator in football can scheme up the rest with later round picks. By the way, Noel Williams, who they took in the third round, in this redraft I talked about from CBS, they have him going like 24 or 25. Okay, in the first round. Mm-hmm. They're pretty good at finding and developing corners. Rick, you're in the program. What's going on, Rick?
No, I'm still here waiting. What's up?
I just put you on the radio. What do you got, Rick?
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right. But be a little nicer to Kyle if you thought I was Kyle.
Yes. He will throw down.
Great show. I love listening to you. And
thanks, buddy.
Is there a more objective way to view general managers? I know you like Brett Veach, but maybe Kurtis has an Excel spreadsheet on draft picks and trades and objectively looking at where everything pans out. I'm just not a fan of Veach.
Why? The 3 championships?
No.
Or the 5 conference titles?
Yes, but he's in the. Is it because of the picks he made, or is it the coaching?
Well, if it was the coaching, then they wouldn't have gone 6-11, right? And if it were just the picks, they wouldn't have gone 6-11. And if it was just the quarterback, they wouldn't have been 6-8 or 6-7 on their way to 6-8 when he left the field, right? So they're all in it together, right? They all get the credit. I hear what you're saying, Rick. There is your overall point, though. I'm being kind of a smart ass. That's what I do, Rick. But your overall point is a really good one. And I don't think there is, and I'm going to let you go because we're going to take a break. There isn't it's hard to grade the general manager because it's not just the draft picks, it's where you pick. There's the cap management part of the equation. There's the structuring of salary. And once you get that quarterback and you pay that quarterback, those other things get more difficult, right? So it's not an easy thing to grade.
All right, who's the only player to have 1,000 receiving yards and 10 receiving touchdowns in each of his first 4 NFL seasons? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Every once in a while, we have to bring out the big dog.
Yeah.
Oh, God help us. It's time for Danny Unleashed. Sponsored by Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Go to eastonroofing.com for more.
You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Petro, Seaboldt, Collier. We're joined by the big dog, Danny Clinkscale. Little Danny Unleashed.
Arf.
Woof.
Proudly brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Kansas City's best. Listen, now's that time. We're probably going to get some more snow, and then it melts real quick. Then it kind of freezes at night, so you get those ice dams. You could be having problems. You getting some of those water spots up there. Let Easton Roofing come out and give you a free inspection. Estimates are free. Inspections are free. Easton Roofing, no payment collected till you're 100% satisfied. Easton Roofing is Kansas City's best. They've been doing it for years, like 15 years. Easton Roofing, no payment collected, like I said, until you're 100% satisfied. You can find them online right now at eastonroofing.com. For you businesses out there, they specialize in commercial and residential. If you got a building and you need a special plan, like, hey, we got customers coming, hey, guess what? They'll schedule around what it is you got going on to make sure that they make as minimal disruption to your business as possible. Yes, that's the kind of hands-on approach that Easton Roofing takes. Parking plan, schedule, safety plan, warranty expectations, all up front. No guessing with Easton Roofing. Go to eastonroofing.com. Danny, what the hell do you know?
I know everything. And
Really?
will reveal some during the course of this hour.
Trust me, I have plenty of reserve.
Yes. My tank is full. You'll get what you deserve.
Okay.
Wow.
Where should we begin? Do we begin with Darren Peterson and Bill Self? Do we begin with the latest press conferences and post games of Jerome Tang? The, what seems to be now heating up Missouri Tigers?
Mm-hmm.
Do we...
Why don't we take out the trash first?
Okay. I'll let you define what that means.
Well, that would certainly be K-State. Let's throw
the most compelling 1 in 10.
Roll the
conference team
dumpster
ever.
out to the edge of the deck out here.
With some gasoline and a torch? Set it afire?
Something like that. Of course, the dumpster is kind of a moving target because so is he.
What's funny is no matter how many times you take out the trash still it's igniting itself now.
Well, it's like we took out the trash yesterday, dear, and now we have another whole bin full of trash. How did we do this?
It's almost like my the picture I would paint about if we're going to talk dumpster fire would be Jerome Tang thinks he's solving things, but he keeps walking out with both an extinguisher and a torch.
Yeah. Yes.
He's keeping his
Lights it right back up
program
again.
relevant. I will say that.
Or he thinks he's got an extinguisher and it's actually filled with fuel.
It's another
Yeah.
He's
So he's got an upcoming game against the pit bulls of college basketball, and he's preparing his team, which clearly he doesn't like, despite the fact that he recruited them all
and loved them 2 weeks ago.
Right, and by running stairs and conducting two-a-day practices, including what will be the day before the game, apparently, a 6 a.m. practice, hop on a plane, practice again when you land, and then play the next day against Houston. Boy, that sounds like a prescription for success. Then when they get their ass kicked all over Houston, what do we get then? I don't know. I've tried everything. I've tried everything.
I guarantee everyone.
I can't do an impression of Jerome. Can you? Can you to get the little lisp in there?
It's a hard one to
He's
get
kind
to.
of in this range right here.
Yeah, there you
Well,
go.
that's
That's
not
pretty
bad.
good. That's pretty good. But getting the
Kinda
lisp
in
is
this range here.
He's got the usual coach hoarse voice with higher pitched.
that's pretty good, Curtis. Did
And,
you just whip that out now?
Yeah.
Wow.
You haven't been practicing in front of a
I
mirror
actually
at home?
haven't.
That's pretty damn good.
They don't deserve to wear that number, that jersey.
That's
jersey.
excellent.
Not
I wouldn't
bad.
even practice.
But everyone, if they get, toasted as most people expect, everyone's going to go, I got to see this thing. We're all going to go find the post game, aren't we?
Oh, the other day.
What's it gonna be today?
I heard it referenced. That was on YouTube in seconds.
Yes.
In seconds.
Yeah.
And thankfully it was there. In measured tones, I'll say that. He sort of just quietly and
What do you think about the
meekly.
two questions? Two questions.
Well, he probably, it's bad. You should not do that. But he covered so much of what possibly could have been asked
that's a good point.
with what he said anyway, that, what further questions were necessary, really. I mean, he laid waste to his squad, called them less than men or whatever, everything else that you could, which is without, in this case, taking any blame whatsoever himself.
That's what Kurtis jumped on.
At least the Texas. Did you see the Texas women's coach today?
No.
His team got annihilated by Vanderbilt at home, and he said similar things to what Jerome Tang said, but included in it, I'll wear this. This is my team. I coach them. But this is embarrassing. Then he said all the same things Jerome Tang did. But, he said, I'm responsible for what goes out there. None of that from Jerome Tang was like, well, I've done my best, but these yoo-hoos, they've quit. Now, I don't expect I guess this is appealing to their manhood or something. But after he says they're all not going to be here next year, and then they're running stairs and the like, how is he expecting them to go to battle for him?
No idea. And I said,
they better get off to a reasonable. Say it's 10 to, 12 to 1 at the beginning. Oh,
forget it.
Lunch pail packed and gone.
You will find out if it's 12. You're talking 12-1 Houston. I'm assuming just to be clear here.
Yes.
If it's 12-1 Houston, you will find out how much respect Kelvin Sampson has for Jerome Tang.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Because if he wants to put the beat down on him, it's
right there.
They're going to double him up.
Oh.
And if he respects him, you'll see a lot of the backups early.
Right. So I guess it's a big bag of tricks, and then we'll get to hear what Kurtis has so beautifully laid out there. So I think
Damn, that was an ass whipping.
I think
that was an ass whipping.
I know we are. Is he? How far? Do you get off at the same exit you get off for Mike Tyson?
Yeah, kind of.
Close.
Yeah.
It's close.
Except it's a little.
He's a very slight
He
lisp.
actually has
It's close.
They both have slight lisps, but Jerome actually has a little deeper voice than Mike Tyson.
When he gets excited.
What I thought was.
Shut up,
just
Danny.
stumbled right into a brilliant. That's right up there, Kurtis.
I'm going to kick your ass.
Well, if he didn't have such a deep passion for his Marty Schottenheimer and Carl Peterson, two impressions that are 20 years outdated,
I'd work
he would work harder on the guys who are actually coaching now.
Like Bill
because he's
Self.
got the talent.
Luckily, Bill Self
We bring in. Hang on, I got to remember.
Frank Caliendo.
Frank. Well, I was debating Frank or Mike. I was having to figure out which one.
Yeah.
We bring in Frank Caliendo, and 10 minutes of the interview is Frank Caliendo talking about how great he is.
Right.
My Pat
is.
Summerall. But the
Sorry, there was like a little.
that happens.
Apparently, spring is sprung because
there's
we have the door
beetles.
open,
Right.
which for the weather. But now, like bugs are like, oh, good,
Yes.
stretch out, and get coming around.
I'll
I'm like,
just hang out. There were-
you're gonna have a frosty night here at some point.
There's one on the wall right now.
Yeah.
For the K-State fans that I know well, it's like they were 10 days ago, or not like 12 days ago. They were mad because he wasn't angry, and then he finally is angry. Like, he finally gets mad, but it's not. It's everyone but him. That's almost worse than trying to love him up, isn't it?
I don't think he could win, right? When the problem, I really think we may look back and say it was game over when they got pummeled by 34, and he came out and said, "No, I'm not disappointed.
I know.
I love these guys. These are my guys. I chose them to go." It's like no, that like he at that point he may not be able to be taken seriously. It's like I said about Nathaniel Hackett when he drained the clock to accept a 68-yard field goal. I said that no, you don't come back from that. And Mike Rice, God bless him, we love him. He does a great job. He's like, oh, I don't know. You could say that fire coach. No, I say you can. I said if an admiral took a fleet out, from Pearl Harbor and 2 miles out of Pearl Harbor, he turned his battleship's guns into his carrier and fired at it and sank it. You don't get to go, well, that was a pisser, but it was his first time at the fleet, so let's give him another go.
Exactly.
Right.
Like you can make a decision. that's so bad you don't get another chance. That was Nathaniel Hackett, and that was kind of this speech. He can't talk his way back from that.
No, and you can't say you weren't disappointed and then have the same thing. And also, it's on him because no team that is prepared to go to battle that evening gets run out of the gym like from the jump at home.
By Cincinnati.
It was 34-11, is that right? Something like that.
Those salty Bearcats could do it to anyone, though, right?
They hadn't won a game on the road.
Yeah.
I know.
Anyway, I don't even know what. I'm surprised that he hasn't had a couple of guys quit this week.
Well, they want to get paid,
I guess. I don't know what they they cannot bring him back. I don't care what they have to do. They cannot. You can't do it. I mean, he's going to have to re-recruit the whole roster.
Yeah.
Every guy has already called his agent or handler or whatever it is. Portal, right now, I'm in. I don't care. Pennies on the dollar. You know, they're going to kick me out anyway, so, and do I want to play for this guy who just said that I don't belong in purple? I mean, and also he's just grasping. He's saying one thing one time. It's not if it was a relentlessly awful single narrative,
right?
That would be better. As you often say, a bad plan.
Better than no plan?
Better than no plan.
Yeah.
And he's got no plan.
He's got no plan. It changes every single time he goes to a microphone.
The first 20-point lead was at 32-11.
There we go.
Oof.
It got out to 39-15, 41-15. 41-15 was
the high water mark.
Wasn't the highest lead, but it was the biggest ratio type. Biggest lead was 51. So it was 51-23. That was the biggest first half lead. It did get stretched out. At one point, I think they were up 31 or 32 late because they were talking about. I heard on the broadcast they mentioned that it was a 32 point. Where was that at? That was.
God, man, don't you feel for Stan and
91-59
and
Wyatt?
Yeah.
I mean
91-59 at 2:47.
I mean, I feel for all the K-State fans. I mean, we've all got friends that are K-State fans, and
right.
I mean, but listen,
can you just quietly go away this year? That's the problem. Like I said, if he hadn't just come out and gone dunce hat after every game, then we wouldn't even we absolutely would not be saying a word about K-State today.
Do you think that? Because this is what I was going to ask: what's worse, this year or the 2 years that we have, or 3 years? We had 2 years of Kim Anderson, right?
3.
3? We had 3? God,
yes.
How did we make it through that?
He
guy.
won 8 conference games in 3 years.
Nice guy, but
Very nice
completely
guy.
overmatched in that job. But we kept talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like when you're losing by 20 plus all the time, you don't really go away.
I don't know. Because Missouri's, every game for them is compelling because they're a bubble team and Kansas is surging and they've got all kinds of drama around their program. I don't know. They might be a real footnote right now if Jerome wasn't doing his stand-up.
Yeah. What years was Kim Anderson at Mizzou?
15, 16, and 17. Combined, they were 27-68 and 8-46 in league play.
Oof.
We don't need to revisit that. Oh, my God.
8-46.
No, that's what I think. That's where we have to go. That's the last season in this town that was this bad.
I don't know. Dennis Gates just went winless in the
Gates went over.
He went over, man.
And somehow.
And for a while, there was no discussion about it until the realization came that, wow, they might do it.
This could happen. Didn't they win a conference tournament game, though? No? They almost did or something?
Over.
Goose egg.
Oof. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
So, as bad as Kim Anderson was, he at least won one in each of those games. He didn't go goose egg.
Oh, man.
Incredible.
It is.
I like, and he actually got some dudes to come back the next year. I was like, how did he
he's
pull that off?
continuing to
And
get
continuing
dudes.
to do it. Yeah, he's like, okay.
We'll
and now he's making some moves.
We'll get to him in a minute. So you are adamant cannot be back.
No, there's first of all, there's so many levels to this. He's single-handedly destroying the program. How's he going to get any money from anybody for players next year? So they're going to stink next year if they bring him back.
Well,
and I don't even know. It's going to be hard to reconstruct the team, even if they bring somebody new. But if they get somebody new and people are enthused about him, if Brad Underwood decided to come back.
I object to it'll be hard. It's hard every year. I mean, most of these teams have 9 new guys every year, so the fact you got to get
no, but what I'm
more,
saying, who's going to give any money?
Well, yes,
they got a brand new football coach who everybody's going to be enthusiastic to give their money to get good players. How are they going to pay these guys?
And that's what I think. That's where you have to. Gene Taylor has to read the writing on the wall. And if it's like, I got X amount of dollars, well, you can't shovel it all at Jerome Tang to try to fix him, and leave Colin Klein out to dry. Like you've got to take care of Colin Klein first to make sure he gets off to a good start. So I think there may be an element of $3 million for him to just be like, Coach, your budget was $7 million. It's $3 million now. How do you expect me to turn around? I don't expect you to turn it around.
Quit.
But we cannot, because I believe that part of the reason why Chris Kleiman's not the head coach now. I'm not saying I don't think it's the biggest part, but I know it's part of. There's enough people that we all know around the program that Chris Kleiman didn't like how much money was being splashed around on basketball. So you do not want to have a coach who's drowning and then have Colin Klein walking around to the boosters going, well, it'd be nice if I got some of that money over here because we pay all the bills around here. It ain't that empty-ass Bramlage, and they're sending this much money over here, and I can't get it?
Right.
Like, you can't afford to do it. So it might just be that, you don't want to bring in somebody new that you're not going to give any money for a roster. So you might as well let this guy keep, there's some value in being a professional arrow taker.
But for another whole year in game after game, 3,000 people there, many wearing bags on their head.
Yeah,
and you're spitting money out, but potential revenue.
Well, I think here's what it comes down to: how much money does it take to build a roster, and how much do you have?
Right.
Because if you're like, it is a lost cause, then you leave him in place, and you let him be the instrument of the frustration.
I'm just saying, if they bring in somebody with the new enthusiasm that a new coach could bring, I don't know, they might hire somebody who everybody goes, oh God, what? No chance. They might be inclined to give him a decent budget to build a team. Maybe not after they had to pay 10, 12, 14 to settle with Jerome Tang or the whole enchilada, whatever.
But I think, Blair brought it up yesterday. Chris Kleiman's going to be hanging around the office. You want to know why? Because the settlement, they're clearly like, whatever it is, however it worked out, whatever they're doing, they're having him hang around. I can only assume if you walk out of a press conference and you won't take a question, and now you come back, it has to do with that's how you're getting your money.
I guess. It's
so,
but
that to me says there's already money questions for K-State, because if Chris Kleiman's going to walk out and Gene Taylor's going to throw that fit, do you really need Chris Kleiman walking around the building? Like, I'm hoping that they're saying he's going to be there and he's never going to show up. And that's just it. They're going to pay him. And maybe he does some schmoozing with some people here and there. But
well, the gorilla in the corner of the room is that a lot of this mess is on Gene Taylor.
Oh, I agree.
So he's the one who signed the stupidest extension you can ever imagine with the buyout in it. Jerome Tang might be gone now if they didn't have this kind of buyout. They might have an interim right now.
It's quite a lesson in constructing contracts for coaches, for sure. I agree. Are we done with the trash?
Yeah, that's enough trash.
All right, let's take a break. We'll talk about the other two basketball schools, Kansas and Missouri, their thoughts, Danny's thoughts on where they are at right now, both of them, the arrow pointing up. We'll talk some basketball with Danny Klinkscale, little Danny Unleashed, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing, experts when it comes to the siding as well. Did you know that their installation uses only top brands like James Hardy, LP SmartSide, Outside, CertainTeed? Their team provides full design support, including a visualizer tool. The previews colors, styles, all right there on your actual home. You can make a confident decision whether you're replacing storm-damaged siding or upgrading your home's exterior. Easton Roofing delivers craftsmanship, clear communication, beautiful results that last. They offer lifetime warranties and factory pre-painted siding with a 15-year paint fade warranty. Find it right now at eastonroofing.com, where integrity matters.
The program with Soren Petro.
This drama contains adult language. Discretion is advised.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Listen, when it comes to my house, I want the very best working on it. That's why I called All Weather Decks. They're Kansas City's best when it comes to building beautiful outdoor living spaces. Look, the beautiful weather's been around here for a few days. Have you been able to enjoy it? I have. Out on my patio, sitting in the sun, working on the computer in the midday before I head into the work, having my lunch outside. It's been absolutely fantastic. Even some crisp evenings are fine. If you got a fire pit or an outdoor fireplace, they do all that. All Weather Decks builds the biggest and the best outdoor living spaces you could possibly dream up. Need some help with the dream? Go to the website, allweatherdecks.net. Photos of finished projects are a great place to give you some ideas. Plus, see the great caliber of work. And while you're at allweatherdecks.net, you can check out all the awards they've won. Best of Houses, A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, 24-time Angie Super Service Award winner. Great locally owned and operated company, more than 15 years in business. All Weather Decks is Kansas City's best. No matter what you're building, decks, patios, screened-in porches. They even do those where you extend the roof line out over a screened-in porch, maybe up over a patio. No job is too big for All Weather Decks, and nobody will start that project sooner than All Weather Decks. Listen, they've got multiple crews working all over the metro. At allweatherdecks.net, you can see the map link where they've done jobs literally all over the metro and even beyond. Guarantee you they've done some in your neighborhood. So call Cass and the guys today. Get on the schedule now. 913-206-1974. Starting it sooner, finishing it faster. Most importantly, building it better than anyone else. That's what you get with my guys at All Weather Decks. So call 913-206-1974 and make sure you visit the website. It's allweatherdecks.net and relax.
Jeff Montgomery here for Amoeba Medical. The new year is all about turning the page and feeling your best. Men, if better sleep and fewer bathroom trips are on your list, an enlarged prostate could be the reason. I decided not to carry that problem into another year and contacted Dr. Brown at Amoeba Medical. Their non-surgical treatment was fast, simple, and came with minimal recovery time. And it's covered by insurance. Start the year more comfortable and well-rested. Schedule a visit with Dr. Brown and the team at Amoeba Medical in Kansas City. Amoeba Medical, MIVA-medical.com.
La Feta Italian Delicatessen voted Kansas City's #2 new restaurant by the Kansas City Star. They're on the southeast corner of 143rd and Metcalf. Check out their rockin' lineup of gourmet sandwiches or build your own online at lafetadeli.com. Every sandwich comes with bread made fresh that morning, combined with the freshest meats, cheeses, ingredients, and sauces made to order. Don't miss their incredible charcuterie trays. There's one for every budget. And remember, La Feta caters as well. Go online to lafetadeli.com, or better yet, go to La Feta right now at 143rd and Metcalf.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare.
All right, the La Feta Delicatessen, end of the hour answer. Who's the only player to have 1,000 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns in each of his first 4 NFL seasons? Incidentally, yesterday was the anniversary of the release of that album. What's in my head?
There you
go. Curtis, a big Rush fan. You might
45 years ago.
What was
yesterday.
the name of the album for those that might want to grab it or something?
It was Moving Pictures.
Moving Pictures by Rush. What year?
1981.
Yeah.
February 12th, 1981.
Thought you might, I said 45th.
That's okay. I don't mind saying it. I'm not repeating good news.
The
1,000 their first 4 years.
1,010.
1,000 receiving yards.
One
10
Rice.
touchdowns.
Rice didn't have 1,000 his first year. Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, who was 49.
Clink scale.
3 other players did it 3 times in their first 4 years. Odell Beckham Jr. and a pair of Chargers in different eras. John Jefferson, Lance Allworth.
John Jefferson had 1,010.
In 3 of his first 4 seasons.
Oh, in 3 of his first.
Yeah, so there were 3 other guys that did 3 of the 4.
3 of the 4.
And one of them was Jefferson. Did it in 80, or did it in 78, 79, and 80. But didn't in
1,010 as a rookie is tough.
Yeah.
I mean, just, you get the quarterback's confidence. And I remember.
And by the way, Moss's 10 was 17, 11, 15, and 10. And his 1,000 was 1,300, 1,400, 1,400, and 1,200.
There you go. We got a whole room full of, teenagers over here. Well, at least that's what they look like to me. Kyle and interns, and which interns got a great name. I don't know how we're going to come up with a good nickname for them. You know how old I am? I remember saying to an NFL personnel director in the Randy Moss draft, okay, I get it if you take the 2 quarterbacks, Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. But anybody who takes anyone else over Randy Moss in this draft will be an idiot, right? So I feel pretty vindicated by that.
Mm-hmm.
And the response I got was, Soren, there's a quality NFL wideout on every corner in Compton. That statement was uttered by a personnel guy at that time. That is the world that we lived in and maybe still do.
Yeah.
Right.
In the mindset. 1, not getting the skills of Randy Moss.
Yeah.
2, the obvious racist nature of the comment that was being made right there.
Yes. By the way, I saw a clip of him on something yesterday from I don't think it was his rookie year, but it was while he was with Minnesota, and he was one up on a sideline route with D'Angelo Hall, who was fast.
Well, it was really good. Yeah. Virginia Tech.
Yeah, and he takes
Falcons.
off, and the minute he's even with Hall, he just throws up his right. He's on the right sideline. He just throws up his right arm. I'm going to be 10 yards behind this guy in a second. Just go there. And to watch him just blaze past, at 6'4", 200, watch him blaze past D'Angelo Hall, it was just unbelievable. I've never seen, he's to me, he's the NFL wideout equivalent of like Usain Bolt. You look at me like there's nobody ever that size who's going to have that much straight line explosive speed.
But you know what was amazing about him too was that if you go back and look, just Google Randy Moss Marshall punt returns. I mean, his ability, his side to side was there as well. I mean, he wasn't just a Marquez Valdez Scantling go route runner,
right?
He had wiggle too. I mean.
Well, and if you really want to go old school and have fun, watching highlights of Lance Allworth.
Pretty fun, too,
It's fun. I mean, he's like jumped like a kangaroo. Looks like he weighs.
Didn't they call him Bambi?
Bambi, yeah. He looks like he weighs about 120 pounds in his uniform.
They wore baggy
and he wore number 19,
and,
too, so he looked, and he used to just like spring in the air and catch the ball. And so
Jefferson
he was great.
my
even his
favorite,
broken down version that played for the Cowboys was pretty good.
And Jefferson was my favorite receiver of my teen years. I just loved to watch him.
John Jefferson?
Yeah, we just go up and you're like, how did he pull that thing in? That's what he made me love that 79, 80, 81 Charger team just because he was so cool.
Yeah. And he was cool. He had a great smile.
Yeah, wore the kind of cool, great smile. Wore the goggles.
Yeah. He was a lot of fun.
Charger
That's old school football, people.
Yep.
There you go.
Google it.
Google it. Google me.
Just gave away, you can Google La Feta Italian Delicatessen, or you can just go to lafetadeli.com. Check out their great lineup of sandwiches. Absolutely fantastic. Make sure, if you have not been there, make the pilgrimage. I don't care where you live. Come on down from the Northland. Try it. If you live in the South Side, it's great for you. They're at 143rd and Metcalf, locally owned and operated, voted the #2 new restaurant in Kansas City by the Kansas City Star. Check out their rockin' lineup of subs, their wonderful charcuterie board, and all kinds of great, wonderful food imports that you can come check out as well. Be careful, because if you're like me, when your wife goes in there, you're buying half the wall. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of great treats. LaFettadeli.com. Danny?
But, it's the time of year so that if your wife wants to buy the half the wall, then you should, because it's Valentine's Day
There
weekend.
you go. There you go.
And I will be spending it in splendor with my wife at the Cedar Crest Lodge this weekend.
Great friends of the program.
We did the show.
Yes,
and it's
place.
a fantastic place. They have a wonderful Valentine's Day package, which you're taking advantage of, and it's so great. You feel like you're far away, and it's not far at all.
Can you bring some leftovers from
their food?
From the food?
I know I won't eat it. I might, have some leftovers for you.
I'll take it. I'll take it. They're absolutely wonderful when it comes to the food that they make.
They have chefs.
Yes.
Not cooks. They have chefs.
Yeah, they're tremendous. That is a great spot. All right, Danny, how about Rock Chalk Jayhawk? Darren Peterson, Bill Self coming out yesterday and saying, come on, hamstrings legit, cramps legit, sprained ankle legit.
Well, I heard your little rant about
legit.
him at the casino, which I think fits. I don't know. I when this latest thing...
By the way, just to explain that, because I said he must be the most unlucky guy on earth.
And that's
so
what
if he ever
Bill
goes
Self
into a
said,
casino, get there. And when he goes red, you go black.
Right.
He goes evens, you go odds. He sits down at the poker table, buy in for the
Stay
max.
there.
Yeah.
After the latest development, it literally flashed through my head that if I were Bill Self, I might just say, okay, that's it. We've got a nice squad here. I'm tired of this. And I know that you can't do that, and I know that would be foolish. This guy's a generational talent. They may win the national championship in a game where he has 37 points. That's certainly possible. But he either is the unluckiest person in the history of college athletics, or there's just a lot of not want to there. First, there's so many questions. Did you see a game recently where a Kansas player had cramps, and they took him to the bench, and the athletic trainers were all over him,
Yes.
like, like he was having a heart attack, and
He has cramps, and nobody.
and
Doc
all he does
Sadler sits next to him,
right, and he sits there with a warming pad on. Or
I agree.
How about the fact that if he's got the flu, don't they usually tell the guy to go somewhere where the team can't catch it? The rest of the squad?
Just hang around.
I mean, so none of that.
Well, Tech didn't.
Right.
I mean, I bring it up because I think your point is legit, but we have seen guys who have been sick hanging around. You're like, okay, I guess. But is he just hungover? Do we know it's not? Like what do we got here?
Right.
Dehydrated.
One of the.
I'm not saying that.
Darren Peterson.
I'm just saying if you are sick and you keep them around players, and I guess
I've said it a million times, and a coolish afternoon of an NFL game, and all of a sudden a guy's cramping up in the second quarter. I'm like, that dude was out late. Late. Because he's somehow dehydrated today.
Yeah.
On this day. It is one of my pet peeves about sports reporting by teams, universities, whatever. They never say that somebody has the flu. They say that he has flu-like symptoms every time. Every time.
That is a good point.
And it's like, oh, he was sidelined with flu-like symptoms. If he had flu-like symptoms, he had the flu, okay? All righty? Why did they just not say he had the... when the only time they say he had the flu? When Bill Self is rushing to his defense in this press conference. This is like the first time I've ever heard anybody just use the word just flu. So it's tiring. It's wearying. On the heels of everything else, then he gets the flu?
Having had two kids who had the flu over Christmas break, there is a test, and it'll tell you yes or no. Because we took our kids in, and they're like, yeah, she has flu A. Right? Like, okay, great. I don't understand why I'm with you.
A or B.
I don't understand why sports teams can't find their way to this.
I know.
Especially one connected to a, state university medical center.
Yes.
Well, where would they go for treatment?
It's just frustrating beyond the pale. I feel sorry for Bill Self because I think there is some level of him. He's not telling you completely what's going on.
Well, Bill Self said yesterday, how do you react to this? Bill Self said, well, if you say nothing, everybody speculates, and if you say something, how did he put it?
He said, if you say something, they don't believe you.
Right.
If you say nothing, they make up, well, obviously it's this.
Well, he didn't say much at first. He's tried to say a little more. No, it's not going to be satisfying because there's all kinds of red flags about what they're saying is going on with him.
Well, there's also the fact that he said nothing about the doctors saying he can't go after the game. And then suddenly, as the heat gets turned up again on Darren Peterson, then he comes to his defense and says, well, the doctor said he couldn't go. So that's one of the reasons why we don't believe you, Bill.
And also,
okay, so
he first he said,
I would think that mentioning the doctor said he couldn't play would have been an important part of the equation on Monday night.
Well, also he said we didn't know until 5 minutes before the game he wasn't going to play. Anybody who's watched the whole routine out there
he said
knows
30. He said 30.
He said 7 or 7:30, about 7:30.
Well, at one point he said 5 minutes. I know that for sure. I heard it.
Well, that's not true because it was made public at least 15 minutes before.
Yeah.
So
maybe he meant 5 minutes before
something
shoot around or
his
whatever.
interview. I don't know.
I just remember I didn't hear 5. I heard
Right.
7:30, which would have been 30 minutes before the game.
I mean, the whole thing is just, it's bad. It's bad to be in my position. I'm lucky. I have never had the flu, ever. So I don't know what it's like. I've seen people with the flu. It looks bad. But, it was a more important game. We've seen Michael Jordan play in it. Bad timing for Peterson came, a day after Lindsey Vonn skied with a ruptured ACL, which wasn't wise, but she did it. So I just don't. You're just left to sit there and go. I think you've said it many times, and I don't think there should be any blowback to it. Clearly, he's soft.
Clearly,
okay. I mean,
I welcome anyone who wants to come argue that point to me.
If your version of cramps needs no medical attention and just a warming pad, then you see anybody. You watch any sport. You watch a soccer game, you watch a football game, you watch the late stages of a basketball game. Some guy gets a cramp, and his teammates are rushing over. They're stretching his leg out like a, banana, and then usually he continues to play. He's got the cramp. Everybody knows what it's like to get a cramp. It hurts like hell, and then it goes away. You might be left with a little knot or something in your calf, but I've gotten a cramp in bed at 7 o'clock, and I've been on an elliptical 30 minutes later. I'm not saying that I was playing a high-level basketball game, but it just seemed, well, that's it for me tonight. I'm over here with my blankie and my warming pad. I don't know. There probably will be a great narrative to this in the end. Oh, he fought through his tough first half of the season.
Predict his NBA career.
Andrew Wiggins.
I think he's more skilled. I think he'll be better than that, but I don't think we're going to be – like if he wins a championship, it'll be just like Andrew Wiggins. It's like the third spoke.
That's
he's the most talented, but I don't think he's going to be the lead dog.
I don't think he's explosive as Wiggins.
No, he's not. Wiggins was the son of a high jumper or a triple jumper and a
high jumper
and a high jumper and an NBA. That was mom, and then an NBA player,
right?
Who
also
really
ran track, I think, in high school
and could
college.
get up. Mitchell
Right.
Wiggins could throw down.
That's what it's looking like to me now. But it's all right. At first, you could say, okay, it's a month. Oh, it's 4 games. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Well, he missed a bunch of games, which would indicate, hey, we're trying to get him, up to speed. We're actually shutting him down. He didn't play, 9 consecutive games, correct? Isn't that right?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. An extended stretch of games. And then it just didn't do any good, apparently. So what is it? It looks congenital now.
Oh, yeah. I think you have to question it if you're an NBA team. Like, is he going to be chronically hurt? Then the question is how much, can he... if you're the Mavericks and you already got a star player, I don't know, how do you view it? Do you go, well, let's swing for the moon and we'll take him? Or do you go, well, we already got our franchise guy, so let's take the more sure thing. Let's take the Mansa and pair the two of them together. I don't know. I mean, I think he will go number one. I think it is somewhat in question now because I think it depends upon where the team is, and it depends upon how he finishes. I mean, we keep
Right.
when he put 30-plus minutes together back-to-back, you're like, okay, here we go. He's going to finish strong, and it'll be a no-doubter.
But then he put those games back-to-back. Those are like his worst games.
They played the minutes and didn't produce the numbers.
And didn't. Maybe he was feeling the same fatigue in his muscles and whatever. That's why he wasn't as good in those games. Now he made 2 heroic shots that maybe someday won't be forgotten in the annals of Kansas basketball. I don't know. But right now, it's just a asterisk, a footnote.
But to a team that's very popular, and let's be honest, the one thing I want to say in his defense, he must not be the world's biggest pain in the ass because he's not wrecking the chemistry of the team.
No.
He's still there, he's still around, and the rest of the team is coming together.
And
he's not a giant landmine for everybody else.
And they seem to like him.
Yeah.
So that says something for him.
Yes.
I'll give him that for sure. And the other story is they just were excellent in the game without him. They've got an excellent team that has a lot of players that are trending upward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that Melvin Council's a little out over his skis right now. I don't think that's Melvin Council per se.
I don't think so.
But he's a tough-minded player that's a good guy to have as your leader. I don't think you can go out into a game and expect him to have 22 points and 7 assists and 5 rebounds every game.
Well, that's not what he's averaging.
No, it's not what he's averaging. But recently, since he's been asked to do special things, he's had games like that.
Well, I think if he keeps taking 25 shots, he will.
Right, but he had more efficient games than that. I agree.
No,
with that.
I hear what you're saying, but I think he's still a handful. I think I agree he's not going to score 25 a game, but I think he is very good, and I think Flory Badunga is everything you're seeing is real. That's not a hot streak. The athleticism's always been there.
Right.
Now he's hunting a shot, and his defense is getting even better.
And there's no pressure on Tiller, and he's improving, and I think he probably has more upside than Badunga.
He does not.
I think he does.
I don't.
Because he's bigger.
I'd like to see him stand back-to-back. But
I think
Badunga's much bouncier.
I agree with that, but I think Tiller's 3 inches taller. Easy.
Okay.
But Badunga's, he's for a college. I don't know what he's going to, somebody's going to have to find a creative role for him.
I'll give you the names that he reminds me of as he plays. Antonio McDyess, Jeremy Grant, Hakeem Warwick, 2 Syracuse guys.
I think
there.
all 3 of those guys are stronger than him. Now maybe he can get there.
And then the LSU guy from the Final Four team with Big Baby that went to the the Bulls. Tyrus Thomas. These are the names that I would equate to him, but he's already more productive than a couple of them, not as productive as a couple of them. But I want to take a break because I want to save time for Mizzou. Danny Unleashed, Danny Kleekscale with us. He's brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Soren, Petro, Kurtis, Seaboldt, Kyle Collier, Danny Klingscale.
Yeah.
Little Danny Unleashed.
Afterthought at the end.
Brought to you by Easton Roofing. No afterthought whatsoever. Kansas City's best when it comes to your roof is Easton Roofing, Danny. The only people that I let on my roof, my mom's roof.
No doubt.
Your roof, Easton Roofing. Whatever you got.
Had a door knocker the other day come to my house. Hey, the people down the block just got their roof replaced by insurance. Interested? Yeah. No.
Filing a false claim can cost you a lot of money, so
right.
Be careful about those guys that are knocking on your door telling you, oh, you get a new roof, it'll be insurance. Yeah, they do the roof, they're getting the money, and you're waiting around, and insurance goes, not seeing it. So do be careful. Founded on integrity, it's Easton Roofing. Find them online at eastonroofing.com. How about them Missouri Tigers? Arrow trending up, or they beat a couple of mediocre teams and then got a good win, but acting like 3 in a row. I mean, not acting like it is 3 in a row, but we should not lose sight of the 24-point ass-kicking that came right before it at Alabama. Who are they now? Are they getting better?
I think they're getting better. I was impressed with that game. It still is a short-term improvement, and they are in a softish point in their schedule, but I certainly thought they were going to lose that game the other night, and it was a hard-fought, excellent game. The other team played well, and they played better, and they made big plays down the stretch. The question I'm getting as the season rolls along is, why didn't Barrett play early?
Dude,
I mean,
he was still trying to make Ant Robinson happen.
What was he doing?
No idea.
I mean, that guy's really good.
Yeah.
And he's 6'4", too. He's got size. What did he do? Did he punch Dennis Gates in the mouth or something early in the season?
No idea. But
Anthony Robinson. What?
They kept trying to make that go, and it didn't go.
Well,
but he got there eventually. Though.
Yeah.
I mean, if they make the tournament and go to the Sweet 16,
that's fine. But he's big part of the resurgence.
Yep.
No, but I am with you. Like you're supposed to recognize talent, and you're supposed to recognize the rotation. The thing that I think is the most encouraging as to why these 3 games might be something is against Alabama. He still played like 11 guys, right? He has played no more than 9, but appreciably nobody has gotten more than 5 minutes other than 7 guys. So it's because, and the last game it was just the 7. And so he seems to have found his rotation.
And I think he's also found that he just should use Cruz just like a wild card. Boy, we need a couple threes right now. He was like a central part of their offense for a while, and he wasn't reliable enough to be that. And he's not that good a defender either, so that hurt them.
I do think that we can look back and I don't know how maybe we were all guilty. Maybe I'm guilty. I'll just put it on me. Of like, oh man, this non-con sucks, and they've lost to any team that's even remotely good. So I don't really need to pay attention to them. But getting Stone back, I mean, a lot of this kind of does coincide with getting him back.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's that.
Yeah, they got a couple players back.
Yeah,
and they have gotten better since then. They had the.
And
what was that couple Saturdays ago when they got beat? I was like, oh, they're the same old team. that was a setback for our.
Oh, the Georgia game?
Yeah, that was a setback for the impression of them at that point in time because they hadn't played well on the road. They looked like they were showing signs, and they go and do that. And then you're like, not so much.
The other guy they got back with Stone was the guy that had 23 points and 9 boards in that, Trent Pierce.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And they won without him playing particularly well in the last game. So I think they're right there now. They were 2 weeks ago. There were 7 teams out, and now I think and Joe Lenardi they're in. I mean, CBS they've always been a little higher, but they were like next 4 out in 3rd spot like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of teams to pass, and I think they've succeeded in pretty much doing that. I don't know if they're in. I didn't look at bracketology today, but they certainly are. I think they were first team out going into their midweek game. So, it's right there, but it still is intriguing because each game is important still.
Yeah, and
they dumped 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And they're back in trouble.
And that's basically a pick-em game where they're a 1.5 favorite against Texas. You don't want to give it right back with a home loss. The 2 things other than the rotation, which I think is biggest, other 2 things that came out of that was
they're favored over Texas?
Yeah, 1.5. They're at home.
I thought I saw Texas was.
I saw Missouri by.
Anyway, it's close to a pick-em game.
But was one they had an 8-point lead that immediately went away and they didn't fold. They kept matching, and it seems like Dennis Gates could call some stuff every once in a while.
Now that was what impressed me.
Yeah.
They actually ran some stuff at the end because they generally haven't been
He had a plan?
very structured offense, and they ran some 2 or 3. Now maybe there was just 2 or 3 moments in time, but it was a great play for the winning basket, and very well constructed. So
and that
was good to me too.
And the guy who fouled to lose the game earlier this year, Phillips, didn't that time. It was the same situation. Learned his lesson.
Danny, we appreciate the time, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
Always appreciate being here.
Well, Danny Unleashed every Friday, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing.
All right, who's the only non-president or vice president to officially open the Winter Olympic Games in America? Brought to you by Nick and Jake's. Don't miss their Winter Olympics menu all during the Winter Games.
get on the road. It's time to go across the country, 2 minutes at a time, for the biggest stories of the day, where they're happening.
Detroit, Michigan, Boston, Massachusetts, Las Vegas, Nevada, New York, Cleveland, Ohio, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
It's the 2-minute drill on the program.
Second half of the program begins right now with a 2-minute drill brought to you by our friends at Joslin's Jewelry. Gary Joslin and his team, Kansas City's best when it comes to getting you the finest piece of jewelry at the fairest price. They've been in business for almost 50 years. Why? Because people love buying their jewelry at Joslin's Jewelry. I know I do. My whole family does. Proud to be your mom and pop jewelry store, voted the #1 jewelry store in Kansas City by Ingram's Magazine. Gary and his staff are absolutely fantastic. By far the most knowledgeable. Plus, they love seeing you. They're legitimately happy when you walk in the door and they treat you like family. Plus, like I said, the most knowledgeable with a great selection, the best selection of jewelry you're going to find. Engagement rings, it's a great time. We just saw, Breezy? I forget her last name, the gold medal winner for the U.S. in the downhill. Was just proposed to at the Winter Olympics. You know, it's that Valentine's time of year. If you're going to do that, get over there today. Still got some time today at 95th and Antioch, or get over there tomorrow. And you can shop over almost 1,000 different engagement rings to choose from. Joslin's Jewelry, it's an experience, I'll tell you that. And you will enjoy it. Trust me. Tell them the program sent you and go enjoy Joslin's Jewelry, the gold standard in fine jewelry. Let's get things started on the drill in Oklahoma City. Our friend Mark Rogers is there, WWLS, the sports animal in Oklahoma City. Mark, how are you, buddy?
Doing great, Soren. How are you?
Pretty good. What did the Chiefs get in DeMarco Murray? Been the OU running back coach. We know what he was as a player. Tremendous running back in the NFL. What do they have as a coach as he makes the jump to the pros, at least according to reports?
Yeah, I think they've got a really good coach. I think that, at Oklahoma he was an elite recruiter, and so that kind of shows a little bit of his personality. And I think he's got a couple of kids that are 12 and 10, and in the pro game, it's more about football, but there is a little bit more downtime. You're not having to recruit the way that you do in college. And so I think it's a great move for he and his family. Also, the difference, I think, in this job and a couple of other jobs, he had a chance to go to Penn State to be their running back coach, but with Andy Reid. Just couldn't turn down a chance to coach with Andy Reid and what that would be on his resume going forward in his career.
Yeah. Okay. He's got Eric Bieniemy as well, a guy who's maybe as good a running back coach as there's ever been, and a guy who's won championships as an offensive coordinator. That's not a bad guy to be working with as well. So we're certainly excited. We love the production that he had out there. We'll see what he brings to the Chiefs. Let's talk about his alma mater, the Oklahoma Sooners, and the basketball team. They got a win against Vanderbilt, but now sitting at 12-12, 2-9. Change coming to the head coaching position, and if so, who does everybody want?
Yeah, was that not the worst win of all time, too? I mean, they'd had 9 losses in a row. If they would have lost that game, they got to 10, but they're up 17 with 3 minutes, and Vanderbilt throws the ball a couple of times. They throw it away with a chance to tie or win, and so it's just nothing is going right for Porter. There are a couple of guys out there. Colin Hartman was an assistant under Lon Kruger. He's a top guy at Florida right now on the bench there. Hollis Price at Houston on Kelvin's staff. I think Kelvin or Kellen is probably a little out of reach for the Oklahoma basketball program right now. And then mid-major guys with ties to the area, I think more so than ties back to Sooner basketball. But I think that move's definitely going to happen no matter what happens down the stretch here for the basketball team.
Does Oklahoma make the resources available to make the basketball team successful?
Well, they just hired a new athletic director who's going to work under Randall Stevenson, and they've turned it around with the NIL. They were way behind 4 or 5 years ago. I think that they're going to make a commitment. They gave some money to Porter this year for the basketball program. The team just hasn't gelled. So I don't look. They're not going to make the commitment that Kansas has or Texas Tech, but I think that they are going to spend some money. Okay. All right.
We'll see if it works out. By the way, moving the SMU game, the OU SMU football game, to the Jerry Dome. Is this a popular? I mean, I know they like it better than going to playing at SMU, but do people like going down to the Jerry Dome for the Sooners?
I mean, that has flown so far under the radar. I don't even think we mentioned that on the show this week, which is a big deal. I mean, the stadium on SMU's campus is just not big enough to hold what kind of OU fan, support would be there. So I think that, yes, that's a good move. SMU is going to be pretty good, I think, when that game happens in 2027. And so I think that's definitely going to be a good move and one that OU fans will be excited about.
All right, let's talk about the Thunder. They, made a small move. I mean, listen, you're defending champs. You don't need to be reshaping the whole roster. But Jared McCain, does he solve whatever problems the Thunder thought they might have?
And there was a lot of roster maneuvering that helps. I mean, you get off Usman Jings, you get value for him because his contract was going to expire, and you could put McCain on the roster for 2 more years at a rookie deal with his upside. And if it turns out well, then you've got his rights after that. So I like the move for Oklahoma City, and they do have a lot of scoring that's injured right now. A.J. Mitchell was having a great season. J-Dub re-injured his hamstring, and, of course, SGA sitting out right now. So you've got to have some scoring because they're not going to win many games. I don't care who they're playing with those guys out of the lineup right now. So I don't think he can even be a patch until those guys, or at least a couple of them, come back. But they love his upside, and I think it was a really good move by Sam Presti, who needed to move draft picks. They can't take 3 draft picks this year. So it's not any sweat off his back to get rid of one.
Is the feeling that the fact that they've had all these injuries and they're still in first place, that there's we're just waiting to have the next parade?
No, I don't think so. I think people have been pretty hard on the team around here, and same with that. I think nationally, they're only 18-13 the last 31 after the 24-1 start. They haven't shot it great. I think they're going to still be the team to beat if they can be healthy, for sure. I don't think that the teams in the West have improved enough. I think the Spurs are definitely a threat. I just don't think it's this season. So I feel like if they're healthy, they're going to be the team to beat. But people are still a little queasy after these last 31 games.
I think if they're healthy, they're going to crush everybody. I mean, they're outscoring their opposition by 12 points per game, and like we said, I don't know how often they've actually had all their pieces there. Now, there's a real question like, will they have all their pieces when they get to the postseason? Then that might change things. They are somewhat brittle. I mean, they do seem to have more than their fair share of injuries, but a healthy Thunder is a unbeatable Thunder in this year, right? The challenge would come from someplace. I'm assuming it's the Nuggets. I mean, no one's. Maybe the Celtics if Jason Tatum comes back and he proves that he can go and they get him going. But otherwise, who is it that would beat them if they're healthy?
The Spurs had some success, but those are regular season games. I'll make this analogy, and it certainly doesn't apply to me. But like if you go buy a Ferrari or a Maserati, you're going to probably, when you're test driving it, open it up a little bit. And I think that's how the Thunder played last season. You know what I mean? They got after it, and they played hard throughout the regular season. They haven't played the elite-level type of defense that they did in the playoffs. I mean, I don't really believe in the flipping the switch, but I do think the Thunder can commit a lot more effort and scheme on the defensive end when we get to the playoffs. So they've already been through that, hey, are they too young to win, and all that type of stuff. So I'm with you. I think they're going to be hard to beat, but they've got to be healthy.
Mark Rogers in Oklahoma City. Great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Soren.
It's where we find Nick Kelly, covers the Alabama Crimson Tide for AL.com in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. The whole Bediako drama that's gone on. What do we think now that it sits where it is? Was this a foolish, thing to even try to get him eligible, or was it worth the effort, or do people think that Alabama got screwed? What's the verdict right now, at least in those parts, about everything that's gone on with Bediako?
Yeah, I think it's mixed, like it's been through the whole saga, frankly. People in Tuscaloosa have been in support of it, have been against it, and then there's also the people who believe that it shouldn't be happening in college basketball, but also supported the decision. So it's a complex issue, and yeah, Nate Oates said that he would do it 100 times out of 100 again. So I don't think there's any regret there for him because he wants to do right by his guys. Has been his mindset.
Has there been any fallout from the judge that ruled him eligible? That's an Alabama booster. Has anything come of that?
No, I mean that was a case of he originally was given the temporary restraining order by that judge, which a temporary restraining order is really meant as an emergency action. It's not meant on really the merits of the case. It's supposed to be something that happens quick because the justice system moves pretty slowly. So that was never an evaluation of the entire case, both sides arguing their sides. And that was just a quick action, and it got extended because the NCAA couldn't make the hearing because of weather. So it was never supposed to go on as long as it did. So, yeah, no fallout from that.
Is the fallout that Trinidad Chambliss at Ole Miss gets ruled eligible by a guy who graduated from Ole Miss Law? I mean, seems like we got a bit of a precedent going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that.
I know you don't cover Ole Miss, but like just having covered Alabama to then turn around and see like, well, we had Jerome Tang, the coach at K-State, acting like he had 3 G League guys he was going to go get, but I don't have a judge that graduated from K-State that's going to rule him eligible, or we need to find one from K-State that'll rule him eligible. I mean, that it echoed all around college athletics when it happened.
Yeah, I mean, judge scouting has become a new era of sports coverage these days, but I think that it's a little overblown to an extent from the Tuscaloosa perspective, because the next judge is an Alabama fan grad as well, the one who denied him the preliminary injunction. So I don't think it's quite as simple as that as people want to make it out to be. But, yeah, of course, people are analyzing all these judges, and even the NCAA today, I believe, brought up the fact that the judge is maybe a Tennessee grad for Joey Aguilar. So it's being talked about, no doubt.
Okay, tell me, what are the Crimson Tide on the hardwoods? Are they a team that's a threat? They've been one of the better teams over the last 5 or 6 years. The SEC as a whole seems to be down very deep. I mean, they're talking about 11 teams, nobody up near the top. So is this just kind of a mediocre edition of Alabama, or what are they now without Bediako?
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is one of Nate Oates' best teams here, no doubt. And maybe they get to the second weekend in the tournament, but I'd be a little surprised by that. Then again, I thought Alabama would be one and done, or one weekend and done 2 years ago, and they went to the Final Four. So what do I know?
Yeah.
So we just never fully know until we get to the tournament. But, yeah, this team definitely has holes, and that's why Nate Oates went to the trouble of bringing Charles Bediako in, because it was like a mid-season trade acquisition that could help out this team, and otherwise you wouldn't do that. So they had a need there in their front court, so now they have to figure out other ways to manage without it. But definitely a team that I think is good, but I don't know if they have the potential to make a run in March.
Yeah, that's interesting. And are we beyond the days, is like Nate Oates home, or do people still wonder if one of the blue blood jobs opens? I bring this up because the Kansas Jayhawks, Bill Self has had heart, issues here of late. If one of the blue bloods come calling, is Nate Oates at home and no, he's not even answering the phone, or is there still a fear that Nate Oates might leave one day?
There's always the potential. I think there's always the fear, just because Alabama is not historically a blue blood in college basketball by any means. But I think at this point, the fact he didn't go to Kentucky was telling, because I think if he would have really wanted that job, he would have had a real good shot at it, or if it would have lined up. But it didn't, and he didn't take that job. Mark Pope got it instead, obviously. So you can never say never. I just don't think he's going to leave for any blue blood job, and I think a lot of the prevailing thought has been Nate Oates will leave at some point, probably for an NBA job.
Okay. Real quick, I know it's across the way, but does Stephen Pearl have any chance of succeeding at Auburn?
Jury's still out, to use a court term for you. Tie it all together. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I think that obviously he's been around his dad, and his dad was successful, but that does not mean it's going to work for Stephen. So I think we're in wait-and-see mode.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it ain't going to work. Let's go to Kalen DeBoer. Where do we sit on Kalen DeBoer? Was beating Oklahoma, getting into the playoffs, beating Oklahoma, was that enough, or are Alabama fans still skeptical that he's the right guy for the long haul?
I think there's skepticism in this place, like any place like a Kansas basketball, or just any place that is a blue blood that has sky-high expectations like they do here for football. Just winning a playoff game isn't enough, and I think it's more so, it's not just that, it's the fact that they ended in a blowout. Alabama fans are not used to losing blowout games, and so that's hard to digest. And not only was that Indiana game in the Rose Bowl a blowout, the SEC championship 2 games before that was also a blowout. So I think that's hard for fans to digest. Part of it's just the new era of college football. So I would say that kind of similar to Stephen Pearl in a much different way. It's a little bit of wait-and-see mode to see if the Kalen DeBoer way will work long-term. I think he made progress in year 2, and I think fans are interested to see if he can make progress in year 3, and they'll support that. But, yeah, I think the way the season ended was really tough to digest.
Nick Kelly in Tuscaloosa. Great stuff. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great weekend, my friend.
You too. Thanks.
It's a fact. It's the greatest city in the history of mankind. Discovered by the Germans in 1904. They named it San Diego.
Sure did. Ben Fletcher, KGB in San Diego, California's next. Ben, how are you, buddy?
What's up, Soren? How are you?
Good, man. Good. We got about like 68 degrees here. What do you got?
I'm walking into my backyard for the first time today after being stuffed in smelly radio studios all day. And, yeah, you know what? It feels about 75 and sunny.
Okay. All right. That's all right. Maybe you'd still win, but not by much this time, and we'll take that here in February. What about the Padres? We've talked about the sale. Pete Seidler's widow has dismissed most of the claims in her lawsuit. So where do we sit now on whether or not the Padres are going to get sold and who's going to benefit and all that?
I'm going to say that everything has accelerated quite a bit here over the last few weeks, Soren. The list of names goes like this. Jose Feliciano, he owns Chelsea FC. Dan Friedkin owns about 1 million Toyota dealerships and a couple of soccer teams as well. And then Joe Lacob owns the Golden State Warriors. All three of them have been linked to the Padres job. The number's around $2.5 billion. Dan Friedkin is my choice, but I think it's time that the Seidler family gets the hell out of San Diego's business because they're sort of doing a disservice to Peter Seidler's name.
Yeah, and so which one is your choice? What does he own?
Dan Friedkin. He owns a couple of soccer teams, European soccer teams,
Okay.
and he owns about 1 million Toyota dealerships, and he also collects vintage wartime planes.
Why is he your choice?
He's worth $10.5 billion. He was born in San Diego. It seems like if there was someone who was going to come in and treat it as not a business, but as something that means something to him, he would be the guy. Now, Joe Lacob obviously has shown he's capable of bringing a team who was on the brink of disaster in the Golden State Warriors to one of the top 5 valuation teams in the NBA, competing for championships on a regular basis. I don't think he'd be bad. I really don't. But Dan Friedkin has a little bit more of a bankroll behind him.
Okay, that's interesting. So then if there are big bankrolls out there, does that mean there won't be a fire sale? Oftentimes when a team is officially going up for sale, they start shipping off all the parts. What's the expectation on what's going to happen to the roster because of this?
That is the question. So according to Dennis Lynn, who writes for The Athletic, he covers the Padres, we're expecting bids here by the end of February to potentially hit the table. Like, as we speak, there could be old, crime movie style numbers being slid across the table as we speak. I would say look at the Padres' big contracts and understand that nobody wants the Xander Bogaerts contract. Nobody wants the Manny Machado contract because it's going to age horribly. Nobody wants Yu Darvish. Nobody wants Joe Musgrove. You can kind of go down the list. The one guy who is ridiculously tradable, young, entering into his prime, and we feel like we haven't seen the best of him yet, is Fernando Tatis Jr. And I got to say, as ridiculous as it would have sounded a couple of years ago, now it almost seems like I think it's going to happen here within the next couple of years, if not before that, where Fernando Tatis Jr., who had such a promising start to his career, could be on the move.
Yeah, that's interesting because the Royals could use an outfielder. Like if I had a dream, my dream would be Fernando Tatis Jr. would be the acquisition of the Royals to be their everyday left or right fielder. Is the view that he is overpaid and therefore they might eat some money, they might take less prospects, or is the feeling that this is one of the best players in baseball and you got to come with a shock and awe offer?
The feeling is he might be underpaid, Soren, for the potential he has. Now, we haven't really seen that. You think about when he signed the contract, 14-year, $300-something million contract, it was looked at as a statue contract, and that's what Peter Seidler said. And so when they signed the contract, this guy was the next Tony Gwynn. He was going to be a Padre for life. He was going to do great things. And since then, he's had one great year, and it was the COVID-shortened season during the pandemic where he was top 5 in NL MVP voting. Since then, there's been a suspension, there's been a bunch of injuries, there's been a shoulder that doesn't seem to stay in the socket, and then they had last year where he was just kind of a guy. So he's an above-average right fielder, but at the plate last year, he was just kind of a good hitter in Major League Baseball. He certainly has not been that special Fernando Tatis Jr. that signed the contract. I don't think we've seen that since 2020.
Well, he did draw the walks last year, career high 89 walks, but the power has not been the same as it was in 2021. So how much of that was the PED got popped for?
That's the great question, isn't it? Everybody still denies that it was even PEDs. It was a topical ointment, right, that he got popped for because there was some banned substance. But the numbers are the numbers, and the numbers show that since the suspension, he has not nearly been the same power hitter. Now, if you talk to people with the Padres, if you talk to the beat reporters, they'll all say, we see him in batting practice. He still has the same power. We just haven't seen it on the field. honestly, last year, Fernando Tatis Jr. was a pretty big disappointment. You feel like the Padres had a higher ceiling than what they ended up hitting, and a lot of that was because Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado didn't hit for power. So this year is going to be huge, and if Fernando has himself a first half of the season leading up to the trade deadline where he's lighting the world on fire, you're going to see 15 teams knocking on the Padres' door trying to get him because he is just coming into the prime of his career.
We hated to see Freddie Fermin go last year when he was traded, one of the real favorites here for the Kansas City Royals, but certainly happy with Ryan Bergert and Stephen Kolek coming. I'm just curious, I know Freddie Fermin's scheduled to be the number one catcher. Everyone's still okay with that deal?
Yeah, I think people are stoked. So Luis Campusano was kind of the golden child of the Padres farm system for a while. We just saw video of him in training camp go 0 for 21 in batting practice. I don't know. So everyone is stoked that Freddie Fermin is here. Excellent defensive, above average hitting as a catcher. Freddie Fermin, I think that's one of the bright spots heading into the season for the Padres. They haven't really had consistent hitting from a catcher position in a long, long time.
Yeah, and they had great young catching prospect, but he had back surgery, I think was the deal?
Ethan Solison, he's young. He's very young. I don't think he's 20 yet, so he was still a ways away no matter what.
Yeah, but he did have back surgery, right?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Okay. Nothing to worry about. The guy who squats for his career when you have back surgery. I'm just pointing out, I think Freddie Fermin, it was a good move to go get Freddie Fermin there. Ben Fletcher in San Diego. Great stuff as always, my friend. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great weekend.
We'll see you very soon, my friend.
All right, the Nick and Jake's Winter Olympics answer. Who was the only non-president or vice president to officially open the Winter Olympic Games in America?
Hold on. Let me think.
Mm-hmm.
Bing Crosby.
No.
No? Some Christmas Carol type thing? Like he was
No.
singing or something? No?
Think I'm going to go home and be a terrible father. Drink some orange juice. Smack the boys around a little bit. Boom, 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 boom.
It's not funny to them because they don't even know who Bing Crosby is.
True.
But legendary crooner, that means singer.
For White Christmas.
White Christmas. You know, like the old school version of White Christmas, Bing Crosby sang it. And he was allegedly quite abusive towards his children. But he was known as kind of like America's dad type of guy. But then it turns out behind the scenes, not great.
He was a great dad to everyone but his actual children.
Yeah. That's how that worked.
No, actually.
He's the guy, have you ever, what is it, Little Drummer Boy? He sings on that too, right? Him and David Bowie. You ever seen like, oh, why is David Bowie and this old guy singing Little Drummer Boy? Like, by the way, David Bowie's old as hell now too, but just trying. There at least was a music video. Yeah.
He was old. He would be old as hell.
Yeah.
If he was
But
still
there's
around.
a music video of it,
Yeah.
so I thought the kids here might have seen it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's him.
No, it was not an entertainer. It was a politician.
So was it like 32 or what was it, 1932 Olympics?
It was in Lake Placid,
It was
New
a
York.
politician. Roosevelt.
Yes, it was a man who would soon be president.
By the way, can I just tell you, I threw out Roosevelt because I knew it was back then. Don't ask me which one. Well, Teddy would have already been president, right?
Yeah, he was.
So then I'll go Franklin.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Nailed it. See how I thought it
Yep,
through there?
Yep. Who at that time was the governor of New York.
Okay.
And a presidential candidate. So he would eventually be president. 1960, it was Vice President Richard Nixon in Squaw Valley, California. In 80, it was Vice President Walter Mondale, probably keeping Jimmy Carter, who was terribly unpopular at that point, out of the limelight. The only president to do it was 2002, George W. Bush in Salt Lake City.
Okay. On your personal rankings, on the Kurtis Seaboldt dork list,
Yeah.
where does your passion for presidential trivia rank amongst like your passion for color-coded Excel spreadsheets and like sports trivia?
I think it's just about at the top because it isn't something that's sprung from, it's not related to the job that I do. And it hasn't been something that I've always been like factually knowledgeable of. I probably knew a very small amount at an earlier age than most because my parents had these, maybe they bought them from my older brothers, kind of like Time Life books series, but it was all the presidents. And I would love to just sit and read and look at the pictures and read. They were like old time political cartoons and stuff. So I knew names of people when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I just didn't know really much about what they did. So, and then somewhere along the line, I think it was about 20 years ago, the History Channel released an entire series just called The Presidents that was narrated by the late Edward Herman. And I watched that and was totally enthralled by it. And so I began just kind of jotting things down, and I started things stuck in my head, and now I'm fascinated by it. I love listening to great political presidential historians, John Meacham, Doris Kearns Goodwin, Michael Beschloss. So I kind of like it. It's something I've added to my repertoire. I've kind of gone as far as I can in sports. I needed another.
Oh, really? You have?
Well,
okay.
There's not much more that I'd want to know about the history of sports. I mean, as far as champions and MVPs and stuff, there's more things to know. It's just that's about all that interests me in sports. That I probably have in my head. So I thought, what else am I interested in?
So Parrish gave you a shout out, and you're done.
That's it.
That's it. Yep.
Parrish shout out, and you know it all.
I don't know it all, but I know as much as I feel like I want to know.
Petro, Collier, and a man on top of the mountain.
Not bad.
So we could either say you're done,
Yeah.
you finished it all, you know everything,
No.
or you've just become tired and lazy. One or
Yes.
the other.
Well, I've always been tired and lazy.
Well, that's true.
I didn't graduate 2 months before I turned 20 because I was
a go-getter?
Yeah, I was not exactly a go-getter. Anyone who's known me for 5 minutes is like, not exactly a spark plug.
At Seaboldt. What were you voted in your yearbook?
Oldest. Guy most likely to be able to buy you beer. That's probably what it was. Guy most likely to be confused with your dad. That was some of the better ones. It definitely wasn't most likely to succeed. Wolf. Most athletic.
That was you?
Wouldn't have been. So it definitely wasn't those.
Oh, okay. All right.
Played drums in my senior talent show, so maybe most musically inclined, but I wasn't even the best drummer in my class.
Okay. It's quite a sob story there.
It wasn't bad. I had fun. I was fun with high school. Best 5 years.
Clearly,
of my
you
life.
enjoyed it. You weren't itching to get out of there.
Best 5 years of my life.
Was it 5 or was it 6?
5.
Just
9.
5?
Two 10th grades.
Okay.
9, 10, 10, 11, 12. And some correspondence courses to get to walk. I had to take 2 correspondence courses between my junior and senior year, so I'd have enough credits to walk.
It's not a conventional path.
No.
To success, but
No.
ultimately you got there.
No, that's why I would say like Chris Rock has the bit about getting his GED. And all those people were like, "Hey, good night, and go to college." Slow down. I think it's obvious high school was busting my ass.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to college on a scholarship of any kind, and we didn't have the money to pay for it, so I just jumped into the civilian workforce.
There it is. And look where you are today.
And I wanted ice cream one day, and somehow I found a radio job.
Okay. There you go.
See, if I was in shape, I wouldn't have gone for ice cream, and I'd still be doing something else.
Okay.
It's my voracious appetite for sweets that got me my radio gig. Shockingly, that's actually accurate.
Okay. Good
Royals
to know.
have signed pitcher John Means to a minor league deal. This just popped. Just saw this.
John Means? I know that name. Why do I know that name?
Used to play for the Orioles. He's from around here, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's why I know
Also,
it.
Pete Thamel reports Kansas star Darren Peterson good to go for the game at number 5 Iowa State on Saturday per Bill Self. That's just moved.
John Means, drafted by the Atlanta Braves in the 46th round of the 11 draft from Gardner Edgerton High School in Gardner, Kansas. And the Baltimore Orioles in the 11th round of the 14 draft from West Virginia University. Gardner Edgerton.
Yep.
John Means. By the way,
the Fighting Gravettas.
I don't know what he had going on in 25, but it was not happening in the big leagues. Last pitched in the big leagues in 24, 20 innings for the Baltimore Orioles. 2.61 ERA, 20 and 2/3, 16 hits, only 2 walks, 16 strikeouts. There is your, let's see if he was toiling in the minors last year or not.
Pitcher profile?
Yeah, last year he looks like he probably had surgery and was trying to make his way back. 20 innings at AAA Columbus. They weren't good.
Probably why he's being signed to a minor league contract.
Yeah.
Hey, see, was there anything else left?
7.97 ERA. So, but clearly, I'm assuming coming back from something or what. But depth for the Kansas City Royals. And maybe there's something left in the tank. He has been good in the past. Let's see, his best year in the big leagues. Let me go back to his big league numbers. Well, really, his last 2 years that he pitched, 23 and 24. I mentioned the 2.61 the year before that. Again, only 23 innings, 2.66 ERA. So we'll see. Depth, though. But good to have the local kid. If you're going to try to make it go with your local team.
And good news for Kansas fans. Bill Self says Darren Peterson will start tomorrow.
So the flu-like symptoms have evaporated?
Would seem.
I do like Danny's point about the fact that how come no one has the flu? They just have flu-like symptoms. So would that mean that, you and I just have, We're not really fat. We just have fat symptoms.
Fat-like symptoms.
Is that how that works?
That's what I'm
Can I
going to
apply that anywhere?
I would think so.
Okay. We discovered that.
I have fat-like symptoms. That's fantastic. I'm going to use that for the rest of my life.
I think
because I'm not going to be thin, so I might as well find a way to deal with the.
No,
it's a choice: lose 100 pounds or find a new name for it.
I go new name.
One seems a lot easier and a lot cheaper.
Oh, come on! You can take a shot every day for the rest of your life.
Could.
Well,
everyone else seems to be doing it. Not everyone else, but a lot of people. We haven't completely wiped out that issue, but
okay, good to know.
My doctor has discussed it with me. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Are you just too lazy to take the shot?
No,
or?
she said let's wait till after the first year.
We got right on that follow-up appointment, huh?
It's coming up next month.
Wait till after the first year.
Yeah, it was 6. That'll be my 6th.
February 13th. Oh, okay. So it wasn't like make an appointment for like the 2nd.
Hey, January 1st, come on over. No, she says March. We'll discuss it.
Huh. Can you record that conversation?
She goes, I want to give you 6 months to lose the weight. That's cute. Not what she said. I just thought it sounded funny. Yeah.
Can you?
That's not going to happen.
Can you record the visit? Any chance we could play it on the show?
She walks in and goes, "Whoa!"
Not much of an effort there, huh, Kay?
Whoa!
All right.
When did you begin your holiday feasting?
Well,
September.
Right after my last visit.
Right after I visited
there in
you
August,
in September, and you said, "We'll see you in 6 months."
Yeah, there it is. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
The line has not moved with the announcement that with the announcement that Peterson will.
What is the line, by the way?
6.5.
Iowa State.
Yeah.
6.5.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was this morning.
Don't you got to jump on? That seems like somebody knows something, don't they? With the way Kansas is playing, coming off a big Monday game, aren't they just begging everybody to pound Kansas?
Yep.
This is a tough call because what are they at 8 in a row?
Yes. Or is it 9?
Let me look.
Maybe it is 8.
Well, I say that because to me this is a little bit two of my principles of wagering running into each other head on. One, when it looks too good to be true, go the other way, right? And then the other one, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I'm right. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 8. When it looks too good to be true, go the other way because it is too good to be true. And if something's in motion, don't try to stop it. Train's roaring down the track. Either get on it and ride it or get the hell out of the way, but sure as hell don't stand on the track and try to stop it. So I guess I'm going to have to not wager on that.
See what the line is on. It was Missouri's 1.5 favorite. I don't see.
They're at home over Texas.
I don't see K-State on that. When I checked this morning, I think it was 22.5 plus 22.5 at Houston. They're on the road, but they seem to play. But Vegas knows that as well. So what would it be? Yeah, it's still 22.5.
If you're betting K-State plus 22.5, I have a phone number for you. 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you have a problem.
I initially saw that game as an 8 o'clock tip. Then now they're showing 3 o'clock for K-State. Something happen? Or did I just get it wrong? I could have got it wrong. I thought I just checked this morning. It was 8 o'clock.
I think everybody said we got to get this over quicker.
Let's get this thing over.
There's no point.
Yeah, we want to have we want to have fun on Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll take our ass kicking, get on the plane and go. Let's move this thing up. I don't know. I didn't look at the times. No, I always saw it at 3 o'clock because Mizzou's late, right? Mizzou's like 7.
7:30.
Because I have the little calendars.
Yeah.
After clicking on 17 each, I finally managed to get the local schools basketball calendars onto part of my email. I'm sure there's only 3,800 more updates to come from Apple before I'll actually be able to see the whole calendar.
It'll be nice when you do.
But
Real sweet.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Technology's a whiz. Let's take a break. I'm going to talk about the redraft of the 25 NFL draft and what we can take away from that. Noel Williams, pretty popular. Apparently, Noel Williams more popular with the football writers and the other teams than he is with Steve Spagnuolo. We'll talk about that next here in the program. You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you for joining us here on a Friday. Still to come, Kevin Harlan. We'll also get you the things you need to know. We'll hear from Bill Self and Dennis Gates going into our conversation with Kevin Harlan. Right now, though, let's talk about a redraft of the 2025 NFL Draft and how that would look different. Okay? If people have not seen this on CBS Sports, they did a redraft. Cam Ward's still number 1. Tyler Booker. Was that right? They have Tyler Booker going number 2? Yeah, I guess so. Jackson Dart 3. Anyway, the part that everyone's going to care about is what about the Chiefs and the Chiefs players, right? And it turns out that in the redraft, which, they just basically do a draft, and once a guy's gone, he's not available to go anyplace else. But in the redraft, Noel Williams goes 26 to the Atlanta Falcons. Williams flashed elite cover traits, something Atlanta needed opposite A.J. Terrell. Williams was playing at a high level late and projects as a 26 starter. I mean, a couple things that come from that, right, is one, again, people love to get down. We took one of the calls earlier that somehow Brett Veach is a lead weight being dragged around by this franchise. They know how to draft corners, and they know how to develop corners.
Yep.
And so, and I think a lot of people agree with this, why wouldn't you trade Trent McDuffie, particularly when you have a guy that, at least according to CBS Sports, is a first-round talent at the cornerback position? And I know it sucks to lose Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie, but you got to get your cap right. And if you get your cap right next year, you can be a bigger player in free agency moving forward.
And we've seen with the Seahawks what you can do in the defensive backfield through free agency.
Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't get the idea. I talked with people at training camp about Trent McDuffie, and all the conversations I had were about getting him signed. So, but they didn't get him signed. We had those rumblings that they were trying to get it done in training camp. Didn't happen. He's represented by the same agency that represented Trey Smith. That went all the way to a franchise tag.
Yeah.
Now, Trey Smith, the difference was that Trey Smith was a 6th-round pick, not making near as much money as Trent McDuffie's made, played all 4 years, and was ready to go to free agency when they put the franchise tag on him. The question here is, will Trent McDuffie show up at camp? Or is he going to say, no, extension or I don't play? And if you get to that point, are your hands tied when it comes to a trade? And I really do feel like this is, I don't know that Trent McDuffie would say that. He's due to make $13 million with the 5th-year option, less than other corners because he didn't make a Pro Bowl, even though he was
2-time All-Pro.
All-Pro. And coming off a great season. Right, yes, he had some problems with George Pickens. So did the rest of the league. Right. He didn't have problems with Gabe Davis. Okay, he had problems with George Pickens, a guy who was an immense talent, everybody agreed, and played well all year for the Cowboys. But I do think this sets up when you see that Noel Williams moves all the way into the first round.
Yeah.
That, okay, they got a real talent there, and you've got Fulton. It'll definitely leave you thin at corner if you lose Watson. But if you were able to go to the combine, and like I said, that's when all this stuff really kicks off, is when they get together because agents and teams are all in one place. And so I have no doubt there'll be conversations. The Chiefs wanted to extend him earlier. I think they'll talk to him, but I think it's pretty clear they haven't talked to him now. In fact, they have not talked to him. They don't. They just don't. I said this earlier. If you're reading things on Twitter saying the Chiefs are negotiating a deal, or they put a for sale sign out there, or that they're about to get him signed, or they're trying to get him signed, all wrong. That's all wrong. You can unfollow anyone who's putting that out there.
Yeah.
Okay? But Noel Williams, we think he's good. Yeah, so does everybody else. Right? That's an important part of the equation. By the way, they have the Chiefs at 32, taking Travis Hunter. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Travis Hunter.
And they have him taking him over Josh Simmons, who was available.
Who would you rather have right now? What, Travis Hunter or Josh Simmons?
I still like Josh Simmons.
I'll take Josh Simmons too.
Yeah.
I'll take my chances. But if he's healthy, he looked really good to me.
Yeah.
I don't want that left tackle nailed down. I don't want any part of a guy who wants to play both ways. Figure out which side you want to put him on. And to me, it's corner.
Pick a side.
If he's going to play corner, then okay, maybe I'd talk about it. But Chiefs need the left tackle more. All right, we'll take a break. Need to know. Kevin Harlan coming up next.
All right, 7 Chiefs have had an interception in the Super Bowl. Name any one of them. Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Fourth quarter of the program begins right now as we finish strong. Whoa. You left? Oh, okay. Whenever he feels like it. Take off. You know?
I guess.
Whatever works for him.
I told him to leave.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I wasn't sure why he was still here. You know?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, let the kid go early, man. It's Friday. He's on like a bonus day here. It is the program, fourth quarter of the program. Hour number 20, finishing strong here on a Friday. Still to come, Kevin Harlan will be with you. Right now, your need to know is what we're talking about. And you need to know our friends at All Weather Decks can build you your dream outdoor living space. Check it out right now at allweatherdecks.net. They are Kansas City's best, locally owned and operated for more than 15 years. No project is too big, and they're only 6 or 7 weeks away from starting your project. Check out allweatherdecks.net. Photos of the finished projects, all the awards, and they've won dozens and dozens and dozens of awards, including an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. You can check out the map link where they've done jobs all over the metro, only 6 or 7 weeks away from starting your project. What are you waiting for? Go to allweatherdecks.net and relax. Let's get things going. Let's hear from Bill Self as the Kansas Jayhawks getting ready to take on the Iowa State Cyclones in Ames, Iowa, where they're a 6.5-point dog.
Mm-hmm.
Seems a little pricey to me, but Bill Self says Iowa State is better than they showed the last time they played them in Lawrence.
They're terrific. I think their bench has gotten better. Their freshmen are good, and obviously, they got, they got 3 potential All-American type guys, starting. So they're good, and we'll get their best shot. We played so well against them the first time, and they didn't. I'd like to think that we had something to do with that, but they didn't. So we know we'll see a different team Saturday than what we saw the first time.
That was kind of the coming out party for the Jayhawks, right?
Yeah,
really,
that was
get things going again.
Yeah, they were just at that point 1-2, looking for a spark, and they rolled the Cyclones at Allen Fieldhouse and haven't lost since.
Yeah, that was the first of this 8-game winning streak after a bad loss at West Virginia. They blew out Iowa State by 21 points and have not looked back since. So, it's returning to the scene of the crime.
Yes.
I think they're looking
for some payback, Cyclones are, and KU's looking for keep the pedal to the floor, man.
One of the guys who's been great, really become, I think Bill Self called him the heart of the team. He called Melvin Council. Bill Self was asked if he thought Council would have as much of an impact as he has when he first arrived.
No. Did I see he could be a good player? Absolutely. One thing about recruiting the portal, you don't get to know the kids as well. You can try, but still, you're limited in talking to him. And you knew he had personality, and you knew he was appreciative, and you knew that he was a we first guy. But I didn't have any idea that his impact on our program would be near as great as what it is.
So
he said very quickly, no, I didn't know he'd be this good.
Yeah, I think that says a lot.
Yep.
By the way, Iowa State's loss to TCU has moved Kansas into sole possession of third place. That's another thing. Iowa State coming off a loss to TCU. To me, looks like an obvious look-ahead loss there. I hope you were on the Frogs there with Kansas, the payback against Kansas there. That's the way that looks. I wouldn't run and be like, let's pound the – although, listen, if KU wins this game by 10 points, they're rolling. Like I said, this is a tough one for me to figure out because they've won 8 in a row, but it's a number that I think is too high. So I would if they hadn't won 8 in a row, I'd be all over Iowa State because I'd say this number's too high. I don't like laying big numbers in basketball, too many garbage points, so I'd probably sit it out myself, but something to consider in this game. Anyway, Bill Self was asked what he thinks about the race for the Big 12.
I see Houston and now, if I'm not mistaken, does Arizona go to Houston? I believe they do. Which will be interesting. And Arizona's still got some hard games, but the majority of them are at home, if I'm not mistaken. I see us being in it without question, but I still think we got to do some damage still in order to put ourselves right in the middle of it, because I still think that, with one loss to Houston and Arizona, they're still obviously the front runners.
Arizona and Houston with 1 loss each. By the way, Arizona has Tech, BYU, then at Houston, at Baylor, Kansas, Iowa State, and then at Colorado, in contrast to Houston Cougars, who are probably, I would say, the favorite right now based upon the schedule, have K-State, at Iowa State, Arizona, at Kansas, but then Colorado, Baylor, and at Oklahoma State to finish. Dennis Gates at the podium. Actually, I don't have time for Dennis Gates. I talked
when they talk about Dalen Swain, who was the Longhorns' leading scorer, was a guy, he got to Cleveland State. He was there, tried to get him to Mizzou, and he couldn't get there. Couldn't get him there, so
interesting
matchup tomorrow.
I mean, when you see these coaches like chatting with a guy on the other team for a while, like, I wonder what that was. You look back, he recruited him here or
like
there.
At the end of the game the other night when he was talking to the guy for A&M to miss a shot. He stopped and talked to him. Somebody on my Twitter goes, probably look for him maybe to play for him next year. AG, I'll take AG.
Or maybe he took a run at him and didn't get him.
Or maybe he was just saying, hey kid.
Hey, I'm glad it worked out well. Or I like
kid.
your game, man. Tough game.
Rough ending, but
but you're a heck of a player. All right, let's take a break. The great Kevin Harlan will be with us. We'll talk a little bit about the Super Bowl, what to take away for the Kansas City Chiefs, what to expect in the next NFL season. We do it next with Harlan.
The program with